Yes, everyone, you know what time it is. We're coming up against Liverpool, the team that we're cursed against, the team that maybe Ange can break the curse. He broke the manager of the month curse. Can he break the Liverpool curse? Let's see what he can do today. Huge game today. Another massive test for us. It's kind of nice almost coming off two great tests in a row where we had a huge litmus test in the North London derby against Arsenal. Now maybe less of a rivalry, but still a massive game for what Spurs are really truly made of. Looking forward to this one. Joined by Davo next to me, as well as the mighty Paul from Hotspur Hippie, the one and only psychedelic Spurs TV channel. But Paul, how are you keeping? And I'm going to go to my partner in crime, Dave. But Paul, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm tired. It's been a long day, but the clocks go forward tonight, so it brings the game closer, if you know what I mean. I don't know how it all works, but I'm pumped. I'm absolutely can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker.
Always good to hear about a cracker. But Dave, it looks like maybe the Liverpool agents, decide to send one in, to take the sleep away from you. But I believe the mighty Ange ball is going to wake you up today. Maybe an inclusion of Hill Messi on the bench. Who knows as well? A big performance from the boys today is going to wake you up and make you feel proud, and you'll be singing from the rooftops.
No, look, I can't wait for today's game. Didn't get much sleep last night. Explained to the boys beforehand. Bit of a disaster. But look, your boy is here, ready for the game, as pumped up as ever. And you know what? Regardless of the result today, football fans are going to be the winner. The whole world is looking to tune in at 5:30 tonight because they know it's going to be a right ding-dong. And this is the time that Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou announced themselves on the world stage. Everyone will be watching tonight.
Announce ourselves on the world stage. That's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah, I don't know about Brian Hill, man. Didn't you hear Ange in the press conference? He was asked about Hill, and he said, Hill, he really, do you remember the Fonz from Happy Days?
What I heard, Paul, is that he has all the attributes to suit his system, and he's a very beneficial person to have around during times when players like Perisic are out. That's what I heard. But everybody, if you could do us a favor, please smash that like button. Keep getting your comments in below, please. We will try to bring them up on screen. We're going to greet you all right now, and we're going to get straight into the questions that Dave has worked very hard and putting out for you guys. Is going to have good discussion as always. If you do want to interrupt the discussion at any stage, feel free to throw in a super chat. It is a great way to support the channel as well as get your discussion and your opinions heard. But let's see what people have to say this morning. Jazzy Fusion's with us. He's saying good morning and afternoon all. Be ready for the opening whistle. Could be a wild one. I could expect a basketball game today, Mr. Jazzy Fusion. Ross Parsons says, I hear that New York has big floods today, Jack. Hope you're okay and still able to watch the game. Still able to watch the game, Ross. Did exactly what I said I would. I just stayed up in the, in the apartment, only left once for I think a total of 15 seconds pretty much, and then I went straight back in, stayed away from the scary outdoors. And yeah, the conversations of Spurs and these sort of tactical discussions and everything have kept me nice, warm, and cozy as well as safe, and as has Dave, last evening. Big up to you, Ross Parsons.
I was going to say, I hope you can watch the game. If not, there'll be no watch along.
No. Warrior without a master. Great name. Always good to see you in the house. Come on, you Spurs. Go at 'em. Guns a-blazing. Completely agree. Bald Bean Counter. Always good to see you, my friend. Come on, you Spurs. Let's get them at the lane. The one and only Mark New is in the house. Big up, Dave and Jack. Massive game today. Romero versus Van Dijk. Udogie versus Salah. Big Ange versus Klopp. Get in there, you top. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. How is Big Ange going to handle Kloppy today, Paul?
Clippity Klopp? I don't know, man. I think you see Ange on the sideline there, and I think the team just playing his image. He's calm. He's professional.
Yeah, not worried.
No, he's worried. He talked about it. He's still like full of stress and stuff, but he knows that that's the best thing he can do for the game is just to be calm, be in the moment, be with the game. We've just got Klopp and his teeth just going all over the place. I think Liverpool are going to be a shambles.
No, I don't see Big Ange getting fake teeth anytime soon. That's for sure. Rudy Toot is in here as well. Big up, Dave and Jack, and all you fellow Spurs fans. Woohoo! It's game day. Big up to you, Rudy Toot. Loving that energy, my friend. We also have Dark Sun G joining us this evening or this morning, whatever time it is for you, Dark Sun G. It is your rivalry day, my friend. It is the Dark Sun G rivalry day. hopefully you're at a safe distance from the outlet, or you're at a very close distance to the outlet and you're ready to go after him at any stage. But he says, come on, you Spurs, let's finally beat Liverpool and beat Man United at home. It's the team that we're cursed against, Dark Sun G. Can he break the Liverpool curse? It feels like even, I don't know, question to you, Dark Sun G. I've said this to everybody. Are they even a bogey team if it feels like we played well against them, but we just don't seem to really get over the line, whatever reason? It could be VAR, it could be just a mistake that, doesn't really sum up the game, but it's a mistake that still has hurt us, poor finishing sometimes. But I wouldn't say it's a team that we just haven't shown up against. Like Chelsea, for example, is a team that we just sort of feel like we just don't show up against, on a lot of occasions. But wouldn't say that's the situation with Liverpool. It's just we get unlucky and it feels like we're cursed, Dark Sun G. So can he break that curse? And also let me know how it is on the Dark Sun G Derby day. Big up to you, my friend. Hopefully the outlet's doing okay as well. Anything to say to him, Dave?
Yeah, I was going to say, look, sometimes in football you make your own luck, right? And and I think with this Ange Postecoglou team, I think we do make our own luck. They're like, for instance, that second goal against Arsenal, you go and press the guy, he's caught in 2 minds. You take the ball off him, you go up and you get the equaliser. Look, we've missed massive chances in years gone by against Liverpool, absolute sitters. Now, also, I would say the referee has had a big hand in a lot of them games as well with some of the decisions and stuff like that. But we're a team now that'll go on to make our own luck. And look, we shouldn't be afraid walking in here today. Today will be a good test to see where we're at, where the development of everybody is at. And, I'm just liking the mindset of many people walking in here. I've always said, dream of the impossible, and the impossible might happen one day. So let's go.
Absolutely. Love that. Love to hear that. Big up to Dark Sun G this evening. Eamon Correa's in here as well. Big up to Eamon. Hopefully you're keeping well. Anya Bike Scott's in here. Big up to Anya Bike Scott. Absolute legend. Martin Nightbridge. Good to see you, Martin Nightbridge. Afternoon, and everyone. Let's do this. Come on, you Spurs. Dark Sun G says Van de Ven versus Van Dijk is the best defender, or sorry, is the best defense, helps their team to victory. Maybe Van de Ven versus Virgil van Dijk, the best defenders, help their team to victory. I would say, Dark Sun G, I would take our partnership right now of Romero and Van de Ven over the Van Dijk, Matip, and Konate. Bring up what, Dave?
Now's the time. Now's the time. Speak about Mickey Van de Ven and his coach, Jack.
Oh, yeah, there we are. There we are. Van de Ven, partnership with Romero. Dark Sun G, you've just triggered it here. And he says, I think it naturally happened on the pitch. We felt each other quite fast. I know what Cootie's qualities are. Cootie knows what my qualities are. We know what we expect from each other. I have his back and he has my back. Cootie is just an amazing player. I know when I run in one direction, he is in my back because he is always there. I make him maybe more calm and he makes me maybe more aggressive. I mean, this is just poetry. It's exactly what you want to be hearing, Dave.
I mean, when have we ever heard Dyer or Sanchez or any of them centre backs coming out and saying stuff like this? Usually you hear, oh, we go again, it's not our fault, this, that, and the other. The guy's here a wet week and he's already talking about, the partnership, the calmness and the aggressiveness and everything else, that they know where each other is on the pitch. They know each other's games. And that's something I've always stressed to be very, very important in football. Partnerships throughout the spine of your team. And we're finally getting one now. And I'd argue it's going to get even better than what we're seeing already. So, we're seeing the benefits of it. But just the way he's talking, that's like the way a band of brothers talk about each other. Team that's together, a dressing room that's together, a team and dressing room that like each other, that want to play for each other. And these are the sort of words I've been waiting for 3-4 years to hear come out of our dressing room, come out of our players' mouths. And it's a massive turnaround. Usually we hear players going into the press, blaming the pitch, blaming the weather, blaming the crowd, blaming the referees, blaming the fans for
blaming their own manager.
Blaming everything else around them, but basically, rather than look in the mirror. And I've always said to them guys, they should be looking in the mirror. But the new guys that we've got here, this is everything I've wanted. It embodies team, it embodies spirit, and it embodies a winning mentality.
What would you say, Paul? This is beautiful to read.
Beautiful to great. I think all our players are saying the right thing at the moment, aren't they? I don't know if media training is just given up on them, but I love it. Sometimes you get these. There's a particular shot that you'll see in the game where you'll see Mickey Van de Ven standing next to other players, and he's just a huge Hulk monster. He's massive, and
Mm.
I really like that about the yin and yang. One's calm and one's aggressive, and they're kind of balancing. Well, not balancing each other out. They're teaching each other the strong points of those different things. So that's a good partnership, man. I love it.
Yeah, it is a great partnership. And let me know, Dark Sun G, would you take our partnership over the Liverpool partnership at the back? Right now, I would. I think they're just sort of past their prime. I think Van Dijk absolutely used to be one of the best defenders in the world, certainly. It's just since that injury hasn't
For
looked the
about a
same. I
year.
think Matip hasn't looked the same either. I feel like Konate seems to get a lot of injuries, so it's really hard to get a good look at him enough, to really feel like he's kind of, the better partner. So I would take our partnership of Romero and Van de Ven maybe straight away over theirs. And that's probably just because they've looked that good over this 6-game period and because I have confidence in them for the future. Big up, my friend. King Hoddle, always good to see you. And I'm disappointed that if that happened, I feel like we usually keep the mods quite tight and quite, we know who they are. So I'm apologize that happened, but it could have been me. Maybe it was me, King Hoddle, but it's never going to happen again. I apologize, my friend. Good to see you as always, though. It's game day, King Hoddle. Get yourself ready. Gabrielle One says Spurs break Liverpool hoodoo today. I love to hear that, Gabrielle. Always love to hear that, as well as Adrian Stroka. Always good to see you in the house. Hopefully you're keeping well today, Adrian. Kai Ballack is going for a 3-2 Spurs. Come on, Kai. Good to see you as well. Welsh Gal, absolute legend. Big up Dave, Jack, and Paul, and the Harris Army. Excited to Paul from the Hotspur Hippie. Excited about the match. Full speed ahead on the Ange train. Come on, you Spurs. Harris Army, Big Ange, IPA Army. IPA Army is out and strong today, Welsh Gal. 5:30 p.m. kickoff, too. It's probably when the IPA Army is even stronger, is even, at their best because you have more time to, get them in, more time to start, let the juice of the nice IPA nectar flow through you. Big up to you, Welsh Gal. Hopefully you're keeping well this evening. And also we have Neil Shafton in the house. Absolute legend, Neil. He says, got to find NBC Sports to watch or USA. We have Peacock, but that doesn't include NBC Sports or USA. Where there's a will, there will be a stream. Love to hear it, Neil. Love to hear it, my friend. And good to see you this evening. He's also done my job for me practically on sort of the TV end of things. Spurs Ninja, always good to see you. Really do appreciate you supporting the channel as well. And he says, big up the lads and the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Always good to see you. DJ Samuel, Amanda, North London. Absolute legend, DJ. Good to see you as well. We also have that commentator as well as the Americanca. Good to see you, the Americanca. Thank you for tuning in. Ribsy85 is also tuning in. Good to see you as well, Ribsy. And John Fitzpatrick. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, boys. Good to see you, John, as always. And then Faz Radfar, the one and only. Big up, Dave and Jack and Paul, my favorite channel. 3-1 Spurs. I hope my 100% record remains intact. Best of luck to you today, Fazzy. Hopefully you have a good day out on the stadium. Let me know if you're heading there nice and early. And also, too, Faz, the 3-1 is definitely a possible scoreline if you're going to go for a Spurs win today. I could see it happening. Dave, anything to say to Faz quickly?
Yeah, look, I presume he's going to the game, so enjoy yourself. It's very wet out there. Going to be wet and wild today. But look, Faz, there's no reason why we can't turn them over. There's no reason. Use that home to our advantage. There's plenty of things that we're going to speak about the fans being able to brutalize Liverpool like we did with Arsenal and stuff like that. So, plenty of ways we can turn them over today. Look, another thing, Liverpool like to go behind, so they like to give teams advantage. Will they claw that back against us today? We'll wait and see.
There you are. THFC Till I Die, member for 21 whole months. Thank you for your service, Dermatron. He says, today Spurs will put Klopp on the streets with no bus, no points, no nothing, as the mighty Ange takes all 3 points. New name for Klopp is La 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 Klopp. Paul, I'm not sure if you got to see Dermatron's prediction. Pretty much said that he's going to put everything from bricks underneath his bus to, I think he's going to sabotage his, toothbrush. He's pretty much just going to make it a terrible day for Jurgen Klopp. What's he going to complain about if Spurs are now playing this beautiful football?
Oh, it's going to be hard. It wasn't fair. They came and attacked us. That's what it will be. We couldn't withstand. What kind of football's that? They're kicking the ball around in our penalty box. It's not fair. What would be going on about? He's never bloody happy, that guy.
Surely he's going to be more clever than that, but I don't know. Maybe we're giving him too much credit. Big up to you there, Dermatron. Thank you for your support for 21 whole months. Dave, anything to say to the Tron this morning?
Yeah, I think from Liverpool players and that, I hope that there's no train strikes and it won't be going on.
Nice one, Tron. Kevin Williams, Dave, Jack, and Paul. How the hell are you, lads? Wow, the nerves are kicking in now. I'm sticking by my team and going for a goal fest win for us. 4-2, lads. An epic game. Come on, you mighty Spurs. Absolutely love it, Kev Williams. And I'll be honest, you know, I can see why you're nervous. It's a massive, massive game, but we're undefeated. You know, you got to start, you know, letting the shoulders relax, go into it, you know, confident. Yes, it's going to be a tough game, but I feel like the pressure is off of us. You know, we just got to, you know, feel confident in our boys, and let's hope that we can get over the line today. Big up to you, Kev Williams. Ashwar as well as joining us. Thank you, Ashwar, for joining us. Van Dijk is quality, but he's a declining force. Our defenders will only grow, no ceilings. Moondog, good afternoon. I'm in no doubt that we are winning 4-1. He's gone a step above Faz Radfar. He's thrown an extra goal in there. We've gone for 4 goals. Moondog, I rate us getting, you know, a lot of goals past them, but I feel like their attack is a lot better than Arsenal's, and I think we're going to discuss that at some point, you know, during this show. But big up to you, Moondog. And
just quickly, Jack.
Yeah.
Before you move on from Moondog, I have pinned a link in the chat, and basically one of Moondog's family members is doing a 100-mile walk for cancer research. She's only trying to raise 100 quid. So I've put the link pinned in the chat. If there is anyone that wants to get over there and donate and help for the cause, such an important cause, just click on the link. It'll bring you, and you can, if you even anything, even if you have £1, $1, €1, whatever it may be, put it in there. Cancer is something that affects everybody, you know, and has done. So please, everyone, put in there, and let's see if we can raise that 100 quid.
Everybody, you guys know Moondog. He's a close one in this community. The link is up there, pinned in the chat. Please support the cause, and as well support a close family. What you said is a sister? What did you say again?
One
Dave?
of his close family members, Jack. They're doing a 100-mile walk.
Yeah, big up to you, Moondog, and best of luck to her as well. And she's doing it for a good cause, as are you, Moondog. Appreciate you. And hopefully Charlie's keeping well this afternoon as well. Big up to you, Moondog. NA's in the house. Good to see you, NA. Afternoon, lads, in the car on the way to Champagne Lane. Let's get it. Sunny brace and a clean sheet. Love it, NA. As well as Tottenham Tom. Hello, gentlemen. Long-time watcher, first-time commenter. I absolutely love the channel, and you guys get me so pumped for the game. Come on, you boys. Let's smash them today. Come on, you Spurs. Love it, Tottenham Tom. Get in there, my friend. I wish Mark New was with us. He would get you pumped up with the big screams and, you know, it's a big fist pumps, but really do appreciate it, Tottenham Tom, and appreciate everybody else that's watching from behind the scenes that, you know, feels like, you know, they don't have the time to, you know, always be able to put in the comments, or, you know, they just like watching from, you know, from afar, and really do appreciate you all. And we have the Big Mike in the house. Big Mike, how are you, my man?
Oh, you're on mute, brother.
There we go.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Everyone good, yeah? Ready for the game?
Yeah,
Feeling
pumped.
ready.
Come on.
I think we're all just sort of gathering ourselves, waking up, gathering ourselves, getting ready for it, man.
Exactly right. Berbatov's halftime smoke. Morning, fellas. Morning to you, Berbatov. Good to see Kev Williams in here. Flat Cap Army. Spurs will be winning this 4-2. Let's go. Let's teach the Scousers that Tottenham are back, baby. Big up to you, Kev. And I had a question about this, Big Mike, where are Spurs starting to get a bit of respect back from the Premier League? Are we more feared than we used to be? Or maybe teams that come up against Spurs now, you know, kind of starting to, you know, kind of wince a little bit more, you know, knowing that we're capable of really, you know, putting a lot past them?
I think it's probably, if you haven't played us yet, then you're probably thinking, you know, we're just on a bit of a run or something. But if you played us, then you've got to start, you know, if you didn't know Ange before, get to know. Do you know what I mean? Like Mr. Box Office, you're going to get to know. Yeah? Yeah, man, like Ange was in the house. So I think we should be feared, but I think at the same time, we should also fear Liverpool. So I'm quite mixed feelings today. I think they're going to be a stronger test than Arsenal, in my honest opinion. But I think we can beat them. Like I said to Dave all week, I'm still going with the 3-1. I think we're going to beat them. I think we look a bit better. And if we can start strong, then we should get the win.
Teach the Scousers Tottenham are back, Dave.
Look, Jack, everyone disrespects us. Everyone has done for quite some time. The underrepresentation in the media also means that we don't get a fair shake down in the media either. So, you know, from the optics, to me, everyone's been against Tottenham. Wear it with a badge of honor. And this is the season that we can actually wear that as a badge of honor, because no one knows how good we are. It's only going to be the second round of fixtures where you might see teams do something a little bit different against Tottenham. But it's only once that final whistle blows after the first round of fixtures where they walk off the pitch scratching their heads going, fuck me, what have I just come up against? It felt like I'm just playing against a freight train.
That's what I think. It's, I kind of agree with Big Mike in a way that maybe it just hasn't catched everybody right. Not everybody's come up against it, but the ones that have are, probably well surprised and well, sort of taught, wow, this is a new Tottenham, this is a new team, but not everybody's had that experience yet. So let's hope that the Scousers get the same one there. Kev, absolutely love it, my man, and loving the energy from you this morning, as is Adrian Chia. He's feeling it today. Printed Basuma and no on my Spurs kit for Pool. Come on, you Spurs. No Basuma? Is that what he's saying? I printed Basuma and no. Basuma no on my Spurs kit for the Pool game. Come on, you Spurs. No Basuma?
No, and number. I think it means kit number.
Oh, maybe and number.
Oh,
yeah, maybe. And number on my Spurs kit for the Pool game. Come on, you Spurs. Big Mike, Basuma, do you approve? I mean, that's a ball.
Yeah. I mean, he's the best number 6 at the moment. So, yeah, 100% approval from me. Yeah, that's a thumbs up.
Adrian as well. The last number 8 for us was Harry Winks. So a big upgrade on that one, my friend. It's been a long time since Spurs fans could, feel proud and wearing that number 8 shirt. Big up to Adrian. And hopefully you're working hard on the scripts today. And a big one for you. You're working hard 2 times in a row. North London Derby, now the Liverpool game, big scripts, the Dark Sun G Derby. And he says last season versus Liverpool at home, no Son and Dyer assist to Salah. Or last season at home, no Son and the Dyer assist to Salah cost us the game. This time, our team has upgraded us massively. Can't wait to see Sarr, Basuma, Maddison versus the Liverpool midfielders. I feel like we have a better midfield, Paul. Am I going a bit crazy? They're They have to be jealous of Basuma. They have to be jealous of Basuma.
Well, I think we've got the best midfield in the competition at the moment. Just what it can do, the balance of it, the flexibility. If we're being pushed back, they come back and absorb some of it. If we're going forward, they're up there, almost like a 5-man attack force up there. It's brilliant. I wouldn't swap our midfielders, any of them, for any of Liverpool's players. Bugger them.
This summer too, Dark Sun G, right? They were after so many defensive midfielders, and they ended up not really coming up with really any of the ones that felt like they originally targeted. Spurs have just unleashed, a defensive midfielder, number 6, that it's almost harsh. It's unfair to call him even a defensive midfielder because he can do everything. He's just such a beautiful player to watch in there. But they would absolutely kill to have him in the team. He's the guy that makes everything ticks for us. I think he has the most tackles and interceptions in Europe or something like right now. Basuma, he's getting stuck in, but that's probably the part that most people don't even talk about because it's the other element of his game that everybody is so wowed by. Just how beautiful, how graceful he is on the ball, how he just runs the show. I even said last season that despite him having, Skip next to him in a 4-4-2, it felt like he could still just run the midfield on his own. He had no problem doing it. He's just one of those guys that's just a joy to watch, Darks and G, and Maddison as well. And Maddison has just probably taken Dave and I back this season. We knew he was good, but we didn't think he was going to be this good straight away. And Pop Matasar has shown up in the big games, actually. Some of his better games this season, Darks and G, have been in the bigger games. Let's hope it's against Liverpool today, my friend. Big up to you, my man. And hopefully no mistakes from the defense. And I don't think there will be now that there's no Moonhead in there. Big up to you. And he says, also we use Sassignon and Davies and Lloris. No Cootie, Romero that day, Kulusevski or Richarlison. You have to remind yourself actually of a lot of the games where we did feel like we had some big injuries, last season. And while I think a lot of people weren't that happy under an Antonio Conte, a lot of times we did go into some pretty big games pretty much without any of our real sort of main men to begin with. And something you have to sort of remind yourself of. And it could well happen to Ange, but I hope that Ange, is able to navigate through it. And right now, at least, he has a pretty strong team to pick from. We have heard some injury doubts with the likes of Sonny and Maddison, but I think eventually, he's going to find a way past that if that ever comes up. But they are our 2 most important players right now, and they are the 2 players we need probably to win this game. Yeah.
Well, this will also be the difference, down the years, Salah's come up against Ben Davies or Session. I mean, there's only one Session pocket, and that was it. But he's had the time of his life down that side, and everyone goes, "Oh, Mo Salah always scores against Tottenham." Yes, because no one can keep him out down that side. Well, it's different this time around. You've got the big dog, Udogie, and also you've got Van der Ven, aka Flash, down that side. So I encourage Liverpool to try and get down that side, because Van de Ven and Big Dog Udogie, they're going to have salad for dinner tonight, Jack. And then when it comes to Darwin Noodles, you know, with Romero and VDV, Bam Bam, I call them rolls and rice. They're going to cut him down to a bag of Darwin the rice. They're going to cut his legs off. So, you know, it's going to be a lot different this year than in years gone by with Liverpool. Also, when you look at the midfield, when we had the likes of Wanyama in that midfield, we gave Liverpool a good run for their money, because we were able to compete with the physicality and the energy in their midfield. You look at our midfield now, I think you'll find it hard-pressed to find anyone with more energy than what we've got. So there's every opportunity we can turn Liverpool over today. Let's go, Dark Sun G.
Absolute legend, Dark Sanji. And also Mark News saying lots of pump ups out there to build up the fans before the big game, but there's only one Harris Army. Big up to you, Mark New. Absolute legend, my man. The Big D says, what's the crack, Dave, Jack, and Paul? Any news on matters for today? Honestly believe we need Basuma to have a man of the match performance to get a result. Come on, you Spurs. Madison, it feels like he's almost playing some mind games, you know, Ange Postecoglou. Like he sort of said, yeah, he trained fully, but he's not trained, you know, as much as the rest of the guys, or he's sort of been monitored. He said sort of the same thing about Sonny. Big D, that was a bit of a surprise as well. I didn't know that Sonny was really carrying anything of any kind. Madison looked okay, though, after the game. Like he was hanging out with his dogs, you know, looked like he was on a nice walk with them, seemed to not be on any crutches of any kind. So I feel like he is fit and ready for this game. Paul or Big Mike, anybody have any suspicions on the Madison injury? Any worries today? None? Okay. Well, Paul, man of the match performance needed from Basuma in order to get a result?
Well, he's not a stranger to one, is he? But
he's gotten plenty.
Yeah, he might well do. He might well do. I mean, even last week when he started off quietly, boy, did he turn it on in the second half. And, you know, he's one of our great players at the moment. So, yeah, I think Udogie will do well to do a bit of mopping up. And so I'll be doing a bit of mopping up, and Madison will just be pestering the hell out of the rest of them and the Liverpool defenders. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't see us losing at all today, man.
They just can't afford to be as lax as they were last week in the first half against Arsenal, because Liverpool
they were, but also Arsenal was bloody well hammering us, you know, trying to really press us. So yeah, they were
going to do that even worse, though, Paul. And that's my point. Liverpool are going to be even more ferocious with it.
That's all right. They can get a goal or two. That's all right. Don't matter. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine.
We got our own stuff. Big up to the Big D. And Basuma, like Paul had brought up there, has had plenty of man of the match performances. Can he put one in today? Because it is definitely needed. Madison has probably been a bit slept on, it feels like, because there's so much love for Szoboszlai. It feels like over the radio waves, you know, the past few days. I'd like to see Madison, you know, start to be given a bit more love, and maybe he can show those Liverpool fans what they've been missing with the big matters. Big up to you, Big D. Hopefully you're keeping well. Thanks
what
to
does
Ren.
Big D stand for? What's it short for? Let us know.
Is he part of the David Army? I hope he's part of the David Army. Maybe there's
I
another
hope
D
it
out
stands
there.
for Big Dave and not something else.
Good man. Good to see you as well, Ren. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you as well, Jaden, for tuning in. He says, I'm so gassed. I really hope we beat them. The last time we beat them was in 2017 when we won 4-1. That was my first ever Spurs game I went to. Come on, you Spurs. Jaden, let's hope we have some good luck today, and let's hope that we can deliver that experience that you had last time, a 4-1. That sounds terrific, my friend. Also, El Tel Cockerel, good to see you. Big up to the three amigos. Good to see you as always. Dark Sun G says, no, Kulusevski means him starting. Instead, it was Perisic starting last time. I feel like Kulusevski is going to be an important player as well today, Dark Sun G. I thought he actually had his best game of maybe in a year, like honestly, in that North London derby. It really was a terrific performance from him. I thought he was very good with his hold-up play, his creativity. He was probably one of the more consistently creative, right? Where like players go through spells in a game where, you know, they have their creative, you know, kind of flashes and moments. But I thought he was creative anytime that he got the ball. He worked his ass off throughout the game. He felt like he was chasing down every single person in that Arsenal team. I just feel like it was Kulusevski's best performance in a year. And I feel like missing Perisic is, you know, a big one, but Hill Messi coming back into things, Darks NG. He could be that impact sub that we're going to need, baby. Big up to you, my man. Good to see Scott Hynam in the house as well. Big up to all. Come on, you Spurs. Moondog as well saying, thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. No, Moondog, thank you, my man. And also, thanks for always tuning in with us on game day. Like I said, hopefully the little one, hopefully the little kid is doing all right as well. And it's for a good cause, Moondog. And hopefully, hopefully she's walking strong. Hopefully she's doing all right during the big walk as well, Moondog. Big up.
We're already at 27 pounds out of 100, so fair play to everybody.
Big up, everybody. Really absolute legends, all of you. And then as well, we have THFC Till I Die saying, don't worry, Dave, the trains will not stop at Spurs today. So players, fans going to the game today, the train will stop at Manchester. Sorry for the delay. What would you say to Dermatron?
Yeah, look, Manchester, that make the day even worse, Dom, while letting them off there, my man. But look, hopefully your prediction comes right, They might even need that team bus to wheel out in front of the goals if Bissouma has a standout game, because he's key for me. If he can just get on the ball, drive us forward, we can pen Liverpool back and ask them questions that they haven't been asked of. So they might need the wheels on the bus to reverse it in Dermo.
Yeah, absolutely. And also as well, Dermatron, it seems like you're coming up with a lot of pretty, genius sort of ways to ruin their evening. And it seems like you've gone like Professor Evil or something like that, on these Liverpool fans. Dermatron, it seems like you're a master of plans to sabotage their evening. Big up to you, my man. We have Matt Nas in here as well. Good to see you, Matt Nas. Evening, I'll stay up till 3:30 a.m. or it'll be a good boy and go to bed. Tricky. I think Matt Nas got to stay up, my friend. Phil P's in the house as well with a big woo. Big up to Phil P. Always good to see you in the house. Jamie Lee's in here too. Adrian Chia says, first time I printed a player's name and number on a kit. I feel like, right, it's nice to see it done in front of you. I once had that with I think a Harry Kane kit. But yeah, I think it's a special experience there, Adrian. I love the pick of Bissouma. Like I said, it's been a long time since we've had a great number 8 in our side. Dave, approve of Adrian's pick?
Yeah, look, it's a good shot. I'll be honest, I used to get my own name and number on the back of my jersey.
You were one of those?
Yeah, I could have had like Keane number 10 or Berbatov. I didn't. I just had Harris number 10.
The big D. The big D, number 10.
The big D. and then inch beside it.
Nice one. Adrian Gia, let me know how it looks. Did you go for the home kit? Did you go for the away kit? Big up to you, my man. And as well as Moondog saying, could I thank the people who have already donated? Moondog, I think Dave has already done that. And also as well, I mean, it's just a great cause that your family member is doing. I think it's something that affects all of us, like Dave has brought up there. And it's very nice of you to as well, support her in this extra way. And really do appreciate all the people in the community that have already donated. Absolute top work. Dave, anything to say to Moondog?
No, Moondog. Hopefully we can, help get the 100. Let's wait and see, my man. But big yourself up, brother.
Everybody,
to Martin Knightsbridge and who else is it? Whoever else has donated, Gregor as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Jet Visuals, thanks for tuning in, everybody. But please, if you can, everybody, please smash that like button for us. We're going to get straight into the discussion here. We do have some info on the game that we do need to present to you here. These are all the match details that you should know about. Of course, we're playing at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is going to be a 5:30 p.m. kickoff, 12:30 for us over here on the east side of the USA. Simon Hooper is going to be the referee. Dark Sun G or anybody in the chat, let me know if there's any dirt that we have on Simon Hooper. VAR, Darren in England as well. Let us know if he's ever done us over in the past. And then for the TV, we have UK and Ireland. It's going to be on Sky Sports. USA, it's going to be on NBC Sports Network. In Australia, it's on Opta Sport. And then in Canada on Fubo TV. Let's go to some of the injury news here. And we have for Tottenham, Bentancur still out with a knee injury. Perisic out with an ACL. Brennan Johnson's going to be missing this one with that hamstring injury picked up from some sort of muscle fatigue. Sessegnon is still injured with a hamstring injury. And then Alfie Whiteman is out with an ankle injury. And then we have for Liverpool, Thiago Alcantara out with a hip. And then, I forget how to say this guy's name, and he's an itch. So I'm really disappointed in my Stefan. I think it's Bajitic or Bajcetic. I forget what it was, but yeah, he's a tidy little player. He's out with a calf injury, and I think he's more of like a defensive sort of kind of midfielder for them. But we're going to get straight into the questions here, and we're going to fire the first one off to the Paul Osper. Are we finally coming out of the painful rebuild that Poch told us that was upon us? Paul, because we're going into this one confident. We're feeling like, this 11 that's in front of us is capable of beating this Liverpool side. Are we out of the painful rebuild?
Well, I think the pain was because of no rebuild. It's like we did nothing for ages, and then all of a sudden we just bought some players and we're good again. So, we went stagnant there for a few years because we didn't buy anyone, and then we bought a couple of duds, and I don't know, last couple of years things have turned around a bit.
I'd actually argue it's probably our second or third phase of the rebuild. I mean, we tried under Steve Hitchen, right? It failed. The signings we were bringing in were absolutely atrocious. They couldn't even do the basics of football. I couldn't believe what we were bringing into this football club. You're trying to pass the ball 5 yards, and people couldn't even get it under control or do that. I mean, it was so infuriating. And then when you look at the attitudes of them, and it's like, oh my God, how have they got these egos? They can't even do the basics of football. Someone needs to give these guys a reality check. And then, I've had people tell me, but Dave, you've got to show them love. I only show winners love, and that's why I show this team and the recruitment under or under Paratici, the Don. That's why I show them love, because they can do all that. You look at, for instance, Udogie over Ben Davies and Session. The guy can defend. He's quicker than them all. He's got more strength, but also he can play out from the back or run out with the ball. Van der Ven, he's got all the attributes a top defender needs, and he's making Romero even better. Porro, he's so much of an improvement on that right-hand side. If anyone remembers, I used to go mad at Doherty, passing it back inside every single opportunity the guy got. If Pedro Porro done that, I'd kill him, because that's just not him. He likes to take risks. That guy can get the ball, put it in behind Son, 40-yard ball in behind. That's the sort of players we need here. Look at Vicario over Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris, great servant to the club, but he was in decline. And basically what lessons we should really take out from that past period is don't accept mediocrity at Tottenham. It's not Tottenham. Do not accept it. We found ourselves making excuses for a lot of these players, and even the ones gone by before that, the likes of Sissoko and Winks and all them sort of people. We should not accept mediocrity at Tottenham, and thank God they're gone, and thank God we're coming out of this rebuild. And long may this sort of strategy that we're on, this course that we're on, long may it continue, because it's really pulling us out of some dark days.
Sorry for the New York noise. But to you, Big Mike, with 2 of the Premier League's 4 remaining unbeaten sides going to head-to-head, is today's game and how Tottenham come out of this one the best indication yet of just where Tottenham is at in this moment of our development?
Yeah, I think that would be a fair statement. I think if we win the game, dare I say, if we manage to win it convincingly as well, I think that'd be a massive wake-up call to the league. And, you'd have to accept that Tottenham are here. We've arrived. And I'd like to come back to the rebuild, because I think the important part of this phase of the rebuild with Ange is that every single element of the club is on side. The board's on side, the manager's on side, the players are on side, the fans are on side. There's not a single, discrepancy, we're not playing the style we want, or we're not backing the manager or anything like that. So at the moment, that's why it's working very, very well. But yeah, in terms of us making a statement today, if we beat Liverpool, I think I've already said I don't care if it's 7 games, and I think we'd have to be considered part of the early title race at that point. We must be the team that's going to go and challenge Man City at least early on, and who knows? Now, I'm not saying that's the case. My general feeling is we will finish in the top 4, maybe top 3, something like that, if we really push for it. But you never know. Football's strange. Momentum can carry. The players are believing, the fans are believing. It's been a long time since I predicted a win against Liverpool, so fingers crossed the 3-1 comes in. We dominate the game.
Yeah, I agree with you on the rebuild, and I'll be honest, it's painful in the sense that I think what makes this rebuild really hard for Spurs is that we just haven't been nearly as ruthless as other clubs are when they go through their own rebuilds. They seem to just have this sort of like clean out the shop, clean everything out, sort of like as if you're moving house or, kind of thing, right? And Spurs just seem to do it in these very sort of incremental periods, and it's just led to it taking forever. But now I agree with kind of the question Dave put originally, which is in there, that maybe we're starting to see kind of the latter end of this kind of painful rebuild starting to be less painful. Only some areas that really need to be kind of improved upon or sort of kind of upgraded, but not nearly as bad as it once looked. And even going into these games, I mean, think about the players that we sort of had to tolerate or just sort of rationalize, just being in the team that we really didn't have much confidence in, but we just sort of had to stick with, had to get behind, because that's who we, I guess, had to pick or who our best option was. And we don't really have to feel that way anymore. We actually feel confident. Look at Dave and all the, who sounds that he's doing with every single player that we have in our team. He wasn't doing that last year or years in the past. Absolutely right. Adrian Chia says, my third kit, he got the third kit in 2 sizes bigger for that oversized swag type of look. Dave, you're approving?
The way it should be.
Yeah.
The way it should be. Honestly, some of the tight tops that people are wearing nowadays, clothes are not made for people like me now. The modern world, the modern day clothes, it's not made for people like me. I put something on and it just looks like, okay, Dave, you need to go to the gym. Whereas the oversized jersey, that's where it's at, a bit of swag, feel comfortable in it, stuff like that. Big up, Adrian.
It goes well with a hoodie, Adrian. Also, too, maybe in the summertime, you get that sort of, like you said, that oversized sort of kind of hipster look as well. I like it, Adrian. I like where your head's at. Dave seems to give you the approval as well. Dark Sun G saying Hooper was the ref for the Man United game versus that Wolves controversy. Uh-oh. That was probably one of the biggest ones of the season that was missed. Maybe you give them the pass that it was the first game of the season and they have those sort of jitters and everything, the referees, but I don't know. That was one of the biggest missed calls of the season.
It just seems to me that teams are allowed to drag us down, body slam us to the ground. And as soon as we breathe on one of them, it's like, no, you had garlic chips last night. Yellow card. The breadsticks, I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough of it. So, but basically, what I'm expecting today is Darwin Núñez is allowed to clothesline players, and as soon as we touch them, we'll get bookings. That's the way it goes. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely fed up of it.
And then he also says he was the ref for Conte's last game versus Southampton in the 3-3 draw. And remember that Pop Matasar penalty. Hard to really. I remember it was one of those where it was like, I feel like we had so many poor decisions given against us that we probably were kind of numb to that stage, but you really still look at it, that probably wasn't a penalty. I think Star was very hard done by on that occasion, and it ended up leading to a Conte outburst and a bit of a Conte sort of a meltdown. And Dark Sun G, Simon Hooper looks like he's caused us some drama. But I'm not surprised. The state of the refereeing at this stage, I'll be happy when we actually come up with one referee that seems to have helped us out on one occasion. So I'm not really all that surprised. But hopefully it's just nowhere near as bad as what Rob Jones was. Hopefully nowhere near as bad. Big up to you, my man. Question to you though, Mr. Paul. Spurs could score at least twice in each of Spurs could score and at least twice at each of their opening 7 league matches. On the 2 previous occasions they achieved this, it was in an 11-game run in 1960-1961 in the top flight and a 7-match spell in 1919 to 1920 in the second tier. They went on to win the title. If we beat or draw with Liverpool, our third big test of the season, should we be considered in the mix this season to challenge for the title?
They'll just keep saying we haven't played anyone yet. That's what they've been saying. Easy fixtures. And then you had Gary Neville saying, well, Arsenal would have won if they had a proper number 9, for about 20 minutes. No one's acknowledging how good we are. Of course we were in the run for the title. If we're 5 points behind Manchester City at any point, we're in with a shot because we're going to beat them twice too. So, yeah, why not?
We've scored twice in each of our opening games there, Big Mike. Are you confident that we can put a lot of goals past Liverpool? Sorry, Mike.
You're on mute, Mikey.
My bad. Yeah, I don't think there's any team in the league that we can't score against. I really believe that. So,
feel the same way.
Yeah, I guess it is a case of can we score more than the opposition? That's the kind of season we're having. This is the Big Ange way. We're not afraid. We're here to score goals. We're not here to, we're going to die on our feet, not die on our knees. That's how we're going to go down. And more often than not, it seems like we're coming out on top. So I've got faith that we're going to beat Liverpool. Like I've said all week, I'm a little bit nervous just because of the history of the record. But I think Ange is here to change that. I think he's here to break all the curses. He's not affected or fazed by any of that. He's put all the faith in the young players. The young players are running through brick walls for him. Everything's just clicking for us. Everything's just going well. I don't even think we've actually found, our best necessarily even 11 yet, or our best sort of form of how we're going to play. But even where we're at now is good enough to even challenge with the rest of the top 6 and the rest of the league. So, yeah, like I said, 3-1 for me. I can't see us not scoring today, I must admit. But I think we will concede as well. I think that's just the way that we are. I'm expecting an open game again, end to end. It's just both teams kind of come out a little bit slow first half from what I've seen you know, us and Liverpool this season. So if we can come out quick, you know, the fans just get behind the team, get that drama going, just pump them up, man. Don't worry if it looks a bit cagey first sort of 5-10 minutes. Just believe in the side, believe in Ange Ball will come through in the end. And yeah, that's what I can say, really.
Believe that Ange Ball will come through in the end. Love it. Dave,
last question. There was a game, was it against Sheffield United? Who was the guy playing the trumpet? Or for you guys watching at home? Because I seen the guy playing the trumpet, you know, conducting the stands, but we didn't get to listen to it because we don't have the commentary on. Anyone know who that guy was? No? I
didn't see the trumpet guy. I saw the drummer.
No, I definitely seen the guy with the trumpet for sure. Maybe it's his brother.
But we need that. All big clubs do that. You know, I know the drummer sounds silly, but on the surface, it really does work. You know, it gets everyone going, keeps them upbeat. So, yeah.
Of course.
Time to ask Mr. Paul about the Liverpool curse. Tottenham have struggled against Liverpool over the past few years and haven't beaten them in the league since October of 2017. Why do we struggle against Liverpool so much, Paul?
I don't know, and it's gone back a lot further than that as well. They always tend to be good football games, and you know, we usually acquit ourselves well. But you know, football's a funny old game sometimes, you know, and you know, Liverpool get one over on us. Like, you know, I think it was the League Cup final in 1980. That was one. Just happens time and time again. Last year, you know, 3-0 down, 3-0, and then Lucas Moura. Whatever happens. So, but you know, statistics are no indicator of future performance. So forget all that. History doesn't mean anything. It's what happens tonight that matters, and that's it.
Ange is anti-statistic.
Oh, why would you bother with statistics when you've got eyes and you know you're the ruler of planet Earth? And you're going to go and look at a spreadsheet. What are you on about, man? No. Eyes and ears and heart. That's all you need.
Who needs a stat when you got Ange? Absolutely. Yeah. Mike, why do we struggle against Liverpool so much? Why are we so unlucky against them?
That's a really hard question. I couldn't really answer it. Obviously, the last win was the Wembley, right? It's 2017, 4-1. I do actually kind of remember that. But then before that, I can't remember. I'll be really honest with you. I think you have to go quite a long way back. They just seem to have our number. I think when I think about the games, I don't think we haven't been thumped. You know, I think we've always been kind of in it, close. And even at 3-0 down, 3-3. If Lucas Moura does anything but assist the opposition, we probably come away with a draw. So it's hard to say. I couldn't answer it. Probably quality of players, Liverpool belief. Maybe wasn't in the right mentality over all those years. But I've got a feeling today that we're just going to do it. I think the boys, they're young, that naivety is going to play a part again, and they're not going to drop if they go 1-0 down. You know, I think the heads will still stay up, and we're just going to keep trying to persist. You know, it's almost a stubbornness, like a bad rash. We're going to keep persisting with Ange Ball. We're not going to stop. We're going to play out from the back. We don't care how much you press. We don't care if you've got 3 people trying to press Maddison at the same time. We're going to play our football, and I just think it's going to work. I think the fans are fully behind it. After the sort of 3-4 years of this dross that we've witnessed, we've been starving. Yeah, so we've just been throwing like a nice little, you know, cracker with a bit of butter on it, and it looks good. But it is good. It's better than that. It's like prime steak. And I'm convinced by Ange. I'm convinced he's going to take us all the way. So, yeah, just believe, man. Just ride the train. I've got no reason to sit here and be negative, sit here and cast any doubt. I believe we can win. And if we do, what's the next match? Luton or something next week? Yeah. We're going to put 5 past them if we win today. Do you know what I mean? So we just got to keep believing.
Prime steak football, grass-fed beef football. Dave,
come on, that Wagyu steak.
Wagyu. All right, I'm going to ask you a second question, Dave, but what were you about to say?
I was going to say, look, I think it comes down to mentality and approach to the game. I think because Liverpool... you know, I've always been sort of up there challenging for trophies. I think every time Tottenham's approached the game, it's about containing Liverpool and then implementing our game plan second. Whereas what I think is different this time around, you've got a manager who will implement our game plan first and then implement a way to stop them second, which sends us in with a different mentality. And when you go in with that invincible sort of winning mentality and you're focusing on yourself, it can work wonders.
But even when we played well in the past, Dave, like what was it? Because it wasn't always a referee decision. Sometimes it was just a lapse of concentration. You think it's just quality of player just breaks, under these conditions, under this type of pressure, and that's all it was. Even when we were playing well.
Yeah, 100%. You look at Bergwijn going for top of the league, 2 massive chances. First one, okay, you forgive him. Second one, you got to be deadly. You got to be ice cold. Didn't put it away. I remember Sissoko missing a massive chance against Liverpool, virtually, fucking tapping. And I do think that sometimes it does come down to the quality of the player in them moments. There's only so many Sons or Kanes that we've ever had at Tottenham that are just ice cold, deadly in front of goal. Other players have let us down, whereas I think now, if a chance falls to Maddison, back of the net. Chance falls to Kulu, back in the net. Basuma, Sarr, back in the net. So I think it could be a little bit different this time around. I think we've got the quality of players all over the pitch to be able to take the chances, whereas before, if it didn't fall to Kane or Son, especially over the last decade, no one else has took them. Bar a thunder shot from about 30 yards from Wanyama.
That's where I'm sort of conflicted on it, is it feels like it's not always even been the referees that have actually, done us in the past in these games. It's actually been sometimes ourselves. And even when we played well for almost the entirety of the game, just one moment, just one particular case where we just needed somebody to either finish it, like in Bergwijn's case, or in, a defensive moment, and, clear your lines, or, don't let that man get across you, to tap it in. How many Roberto Firmino winners have I feel like I've seen, against us, in the 90th minute, just because somebody in the 90th minute wasn't switched on enough to really be able to track his run or whatever, right? That's been the case too. We've even seen other moments where it just feels like maybe it's just that final ball, that final pass that really isn't either for us. And even too, I think we played well and we've taken it to them, and just for some reason or another, just doesn't really get our way or doesn't really go our way. And I think we need to be clinical. We need to take our chances, but we also need to be solid defensively. And I think we've done it in the past, but for some reason, we just haven't been able to do it for the whole 90 minutes. Dave thinks it's down to a bit of quality. And before I kind of move on from it, do you agree with him on that, Big Mike? Like, do you think it's just been kind of the quality of the players that eventually just sort of cracked underneath the pressure, of Liverpool?
Yeah, I think it's probably quality all round. If you look from even top to bottom during that period, the ball were backing their manager. They sell their best players. They reinvest in Alisson and Van Dijk, give Klopp the team that he needs to push on to challenge Man City. So, the last 5 years, Liverpool have been playing in their prime, you probably have to argue, and look like they possibly return in this season after what some would say was a poor season for them last season, but they did claw it back quite well from where they were at. So yeah, I think it is a bit of quality. I think it's definitely the player across the pitch. I think if you look at it now, the quality gap, even though no outside of Tottenham is going to agree with this, but I believe the quality gap's a little bit closer now than it's been before. I think Mickey van der Ven could, if Van Dijk didn't play on the left, he probably does walk into that team. Udogie, I think, is a quality left back. Robertson's obviously got the sort of proof in the pudding, but I do think Udogie's ceiling's higher than what Robertson's capable of now, at least. But it's a tough one. Look, they have got a quality side. They've got experienced side. They've got winners in the team. They've given Klopp back his engine. I think that's what he calls his midfield, right? And he does. Slobozlai does look good. Gravenberch's not a bad player, but there's something special about this team. But more specifically, the Wagyu chef himself, and he's the special one. Like he is the Jose Mourinho reincarnation, as far as I'm concerned, but in an attacking way, in a more positive football philosophy way. So I'm just backing Ange. Like I can't see us losing this game. And if we lose, look, I'll come back on and I'll be brave enough to admit I was wrong. But I just got this funny feeling that we're just going to take it to Liverpool. They ain't going to know what hit them today.
Love that. Love hearing that. And I do also agree in the case that Ange is just sort of new, right, to the game, and he's also just sort of changing the Premier League right now as we see it. He's a new face with new ideas, and the players are taking on to it, and they're showing their best qualities. Far more key battles in this game as well than there used to be. Felt like, in the past, there was only maybe a couple, like between, certain positions where they were sort of evenly matched. But now it feels like there are a lot of players that are kind of evenly matched sort of across the pitch. Wayne Bonner going for a 590 million to 0 to Spurs at halftime. Paul or Wayne, you were actually a bit more conservative yesterday, so I'm curious what happened. Maybe you saw a bit more highlight reels of some terrific goals or something like that with Spurs. Maybe had a Gary Mabbott highlight reel or something like that you caught wind of. But yeah, 590 million. I think that's what you said would be the case at full time. Now we're getting that at halftime. Wayno, feeling even more confident than you were yesterday. I love to see it, my friend. We also have as well Dark Sun G saying, Dyer's leadership is nowhere near as good as Cootie's leadership. Only 6 games in as well. I think Romero is clearly demanding more respect, and maybe actually is getting more respect from the rest of his teammates as well as the rest of the squad and that defense than Dyer did. I think Dyer had that leadership role, but I don't know, maybe I'm going a bit far with the conspiracies, but I do feel like very few players really truly kind of respected him in the way that they actually saw him as a terrific player. They saw him as a guy that you really look up to, you know, what he can bring. And I feel like a lot of guys eventually start actually losing confidence in Dyer. Maybe they like Dyer as a person, maybe they like him, you know, as sort of a guy around the squad, but I don't think they really saw him as this, you know, imperious, you know, warrior defender that they can really get behind and feel confident in, like they do with Romero. Look at what Mickey Van de Ven has said about Romero. You know, very few people have said that, you know, it feels like, about an Eric Dyer in those sort of kind of ways. And I'll be honest, I just think Romero is just showing the leadership that we've always needed in that backline. Dark Sun G, Emerson, Porro, Van de Ven, Udogie, they all seem to respect him, you know, and there seems to be this feeling that Cuti Romero is a true leader. And while I think maybe originally it was questioned that he really loved the club and whether he was really here for the long term, whether his heart was really with Spurs, he's absolutely put that in the mud, and he's shown everybody that he's here to stay, and he wants his best years to be here at Tottenham Hotspur, which is another brilliant thing to hear at Dark Sun G. But yeah,
look, another thing on that, like if I was at right back, for instance, or I was the centre back partnership, and he was screaming at me to tuck in and, you know, drop back into position, first thing I'd say is, look, shut up, you twat. You can't even keep yourself in a decent position to defend. I ain't listening to you. Just concentrate on what you're doing. And then what will happen then is he'll run into the manager or run up to Daniel, whereas Romero won't do that. He'll just corner them in a dark part of the dressing room and scare them into listening to him. And that's different. Look, that's what a great leader does sometimes. You know, so a leader has to have fear. You know, people have to fear a leader, or else they won't do what he says. And you know, that's the difference for me. Whereas now when you see QE trying to organize people or yelling at people, they listen. Whereas when you've got a loser, you know, shouting at you, you know, like this isn't just, it's just embarrassing. And that's why the leadership broke down, because the people, the one barking orders and trying to get people on side to sort out the dressing room and go on a winning, you know, you try and win a few games, are the ones costing us the game. So, you know, that's why it had to change. It just had to. And now you've got Romero in there. He's the one organizing everyone, and there's a massive difference. He leads by example. If he says so, people will follow him through a brick wall. Whereas if Dyer said, let's jump off the bridge, guys, they'd let him jump and they'd run off to the pub. You know what
I mean? Yeah, and completely agree, Dave. And Cootie's leadership is just far more admired, and he leads by example, like you said there. And in Dyer's case, right, he can't, he's a bit of a hypocrite in that he'll tell others what to do, but then he's making the mistake that he's telling others what to do. It's just not really how it should work. Martin Nightbridge saying, Ange ain't worried about the past, just the future. He shouldn't be worried about the past because it's not really his responsibility, right? It's, you know, it's he's created almost this clean slate for a lot of players. He's created almost this clean slate for the club as well, for the squad and the mentality and everything. I mean, yes, there's probably a bit of hoodoo from the past that still lingers with some of us, but I think that's more with the fan base than it really is with the players. I think a lot of these players are pretty new to the team. They've only played in so many Liverpool games anyway. I think they don't have that sort of baggage that us as the fans might have going into this sort of game. And neither is Ange. I think Ange really, once again, wants to try to prove something, wants to try to show something to the rest of the Premier League, and maybe a Jurgen Klopp, you know, show him up on the day. Mr. Martin Nightbridge. Absolutely love it. He isn't worried. I don't think he's worried at all. And then Dark Sun G also says Vicario's mentality is far better than Lloris, who blamed others. Look at even the North London Derby, an example, Dark Sun G. Lloris on both North London Derbies last year threw his arms up at his, you know, fellow defenders when they made mistakes, sort of like putting up this sort of kind of complaining, kind of just sort of, I don't know, just not an attractive sort of kind of face or look really for what you're trying to go for. I think as a captain, you want to be, again, you know, a leader by example. And he was just sort of throwing his arms up, making these sort of grimaced faces at his teammates and everything like that, even when he was the one making mistakes. And it just wasn't a good look. Whereas you see Vicario, he's putting his arm around Romero after he makes a mistake. When Udogie played that sort of sketchy back pass to him, he didn't scream at him like a Pickford would. You know, he actually put his, you know, his thumbs up and told him, you know, do it again. You know, that's okay, right? We're going for that sort of type of play. It just shows far more leadership than I think we actually were getting in the past from our defenders, and maybe even a Hugo Lloris. And also some are saying that Vicario is far more vocal than even Hugo Lloris ever was in that back line too, which is pretty much a surprise. So Big Vic, I love him, Dark Sun G. I'm really falling in love with him, and I think he's doing everything. He's making crack saves. He's been very good with the ball at his feet as well. He's just doing everything because, yes, the modern goalkeeper needs to be good with the ball at his feet, but he also still needs to make saves at the end of the day, and that's what Big Vic is doing for us right now. Absolutely falling in love with him at the moment. Paul, shall we give yourself a bit of a plug here? And I'm sorry that, maybe hopefully Ange Ball wakes you up later, but
yeah, no, I've just hit a wall. I've had a long day, and I'll probably just get 3 hours sleep before the game, so I'm gonna have to bail, folks. But thanks for having me on as always. I'm gonna go for 4-1 Spurs, by the way, and I think it's gonna be a fantastic game. You can catch me at the Hotspur Hippie, and I'll catch you all later. And come on, you Spurs!
No, big up, Paul.
Come
Everyone
on,
please
you
get
Spurs.
over and show the guy some love. This guy stays up, well into the early hours of the morning to come on and do this and stuff like that. So please get over and replicate the love for Hotspur Hippie. What a guy.
Yeah, he gets up for us in the crazy hours, stupid hours in the morning, and he deserves a lot of love and a lot of support. He's also very close to 2K by the looks of it as well. So everybody, let's get on over to 2K. Absolute legend. Bobby K's in the house. Good to see you, Bobby K. Big up panel and everyone in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. David, easy 3-1 win today. Klopp going to be complaining about being hit by a train. The Ange train, baby. He's going to be complaining about the smell of the prime Wagyu steak that he's going to be cooking. That's what Big Mike was talking about, Bobby K. I think Jurgen's going to be complaining about how good the football smells that we're going to be putting out there, my man. Good to see you. And also we have Mia in the house. Villa on beast mode at home. I wanted to watch that game this morning. I wanted to watch it this morning.
It was 6-1 or something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy. I really wanted to watch that game. I just didn't.
Brighton went Villa went a man down as well. I think Brighton got a goal back and they just got trounced. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. When Brighton lose, they really lose hard.
They get hammered.
When they want to lose, they really just give up. Big up, Mia. Good to see you in the house as always. And hopefully you're keeping well. Leighton Evelyn, 3-2 Spurs. Leighton, what's happened, my man? I mean, I don't want to I don't know. I'm giving you a hard time, Leighton. Always good to see you. You can absolutely go for a win. I don't know why I need to expect you to go for something worse. Big up, Leighton. Always good to see you, my friend.
It's the confidence, Jack. It's the confidence as Ange Ball. It's changing opinions.
You thought I'd
miss you there, Leighton in evolution.
You thought you'd sneak in there with that 3-2. No, I'm going to see that in the chat there. Pick up, my man. Dark Sun G says, Liverpool in the past only needed to mark Son and Kane, and we can't score because we don't score goals from anyone else in the past. Now we can score from practically anywhere. Dave, you're nodding your head. I mean, Son and Kane, it was sort of easy, right, to figure out Spurs. You kind of knew where the creativity was coming from. Came from usually Kane when he dropped deep. And then you knew who usually was going to be finishing off those sort of kind of chances that were created was going to be Sonny. And if you were able to take one of them out of the game, if not both of them out of the game, you had a pretty good chance of winning.
We've seen in years gone by the Liverpool centre-backs getting very tight to Kane and trying to dislodge the ball as soon as it comes into him because they knew if he gets turned, that's where Spurs are dangerous, right? You got Sonny running off him or Kane can hit one himself. So, you've seen Liverpool get right up his ass before and try and dislodge, manhandling Van Dijk especially. It's going to be a bit different this time round because, Kulusevski, I actually predict is going to have his finest hour in a Tottenham jersey. He's just been building up slowly towards something. And I think today could be the day he comes cropper. You've got Solomon the other side if he starts today, who I actually think has been an okay signing for us so far. We need a massive game from him today. But Sonny, he's deadly in front of the goal. He's absolutely clinical. Last season, maybe he lost that a little bit for whatever reason, but this season he certainly got it back. And every chance that's presented itself, the guys absolutely took. But also, it's the partnership of Maddison behind him. I always said, Son won't be able to do it on his own. He needs someone to link up with, like he did with Kane. And Maddison is that partnership. But the reason why it's so difficult to mark Maddison is because he's a midfielder coming onto the ball. It's not Kane getting the ball, trying to hold it up, get turned. So that, Son is benefiting from that. Son can just get on his bike and Maddison will find him. And that's the partnership we needed for basically the start to the season that we've seen so far this season.
Yeah. And I agree with you on Madison, right? Being a different dynamic to Kane because he's offering something similar in the creativity, but he's just playing an entirely different position where he's actually able to drop deep, pick the ball off of the center back, and that's much harder to deal with. Basuma, too, is able to create goals for others, be able to get moves started. And now looking at Kulusevski, who seems to be given kind of a new lease of life. Once you have Kulusevski fit and firing, that is always then going to be that third option that could score or create a goal as well. You also look at maybe just players like Pop Matassar, who are very good at just being that presence in the box. He seems to show up in these big games because he can sort of get up and down and he makes those late runs. I think there's so many different areas where we can score. Even a Pedro Porro, Dark Sun G, I think is capable of scoring a goal when given kind of that space and time. Absolutely agree with you. And Spurs are not as one-dimensional, not as easy to sort of figure out, nowhere near as predictable as we used to be. And it's just thanks to kind of the restructuring, of the squad, by Paratici, and I think also by Ange Postecoglou with his tactics. Big up, Dark Sun G. Great point, my man. Patty Harnett, good to see you, Patty. Saying, afternoon, gents. I'm more nervous about today than I was last week. I would take a draw again, just not to lose again to those efforts.
Yeah,
I know too many Pool fans. Dave, too many Pool fans that you grew up with. Is that correct?
Look, as we know, over here in Ireland, Man United and Liverpool are two biggest supported clubs. Everyone, that's why, like me and Paddy, we had it tough growing up, right? We said, look, we don't want to be one of these trophy clout chasers. We want to go for a team that plays sexy football, which is a bit of an underdog. We want to take the hard route. And that's what we've done. And I've no doubt Paddy's in the same boat as me, where a lot of the people around him are probably Liverpool fans. So, and do you know what it is, Jack? They're just so cocky. It's really annoying. They're even more cocky than United fans. And they're even more cocky than United fans when United were winning everything. That's how embarrassing they are. And they just can't help themselves. It's just the nature of the person. You have to be a certain type to follow Liverpool. You have to be arrogant and all that sort of, jazz. And for me, I'm sick of having to go hiding, because what I do is I actually turn off my phone and no one will see me for a few days. I don't want that feeling today. I want to sit there, phone on, ring my friends, them not answering. It's like, okay, well, I know where your address is. I'll be round. And then call around and then knock on the door and see if they're there. And then they can't avoid me. I want that moment today. For the last few years, I've had to hide. Now's my time to stand there loud and proud. All my Liverpool friends, you know who you are. Be ready.
Big Mike, plenty of Liverpool fans think they invented football. Do you have any family members or friends that, were sort of in that category?
I mean, funny enough, my best friend, actually, genuinely my best friend is a Liverpool fan. So, yeah, I grew up with him through the Gerrard moment and that. To be fair, I remember watching that game. I think I was watching it with him or talking to him afterwards, and that's a big moment. But, yeah, I mean, I've got a few of my life. For me, mainly, it's Arsenal and West Ham. So, yeah, I'm truly blessed with the rival fans around me. But no, I can't blame them. They've had a good history, you know what I mean? They can't blame them.
They're intolerable, Liverpool fans. Intolerable.
Remember last week, Big Mike, you put yourself in the enemy territory, right, for the North London derby. It looks like your best friend is a Liverpool fan, which is, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't think it's a rival, but yeah, I do agree. I think they get on that sort of, like they do sort of act like they're the only team that have done anything, in the past 50 years, sort of mentality sometimes, especially the 70s. I think that's when they probably thought that they invented the game. Faz Radfar saying, how do I transfer membership from the old phone to the new one? Faz,
I think it's through the accounts, Google accounts or whatever it is.
Yeah, switch Google accounts if you can. Switch Google.
You should just sign into literally sign into the account that you paid it on. Mm-hmm. And it should work. It shouldn't be anything other than that, really.
And or if you feel like it, maybe cancel the one on the other sort of Google account and then move it over to this one if you feel like it. But Fazzy, we appreciate
no
you,
pressure.
We appreciate it. No pressure or anything. But if you're able to see the members only stuff, Faz, I mean, no pressure, my man. That's all we want to see, is that if you're able to see all the members only stuff, if you're getting emails, because they should send you notifications for all that stuff. So if you're not getting any of that, then yeah, let's figure that out. But if you're still able to watch those videos and everything, then you're absolutely fine, my man. You're absolutely fine. Love you, Faz. Appreciate you.
Big up, Faz.
This question I have for you here, Big Mike. Half-5 kickoff off the back of result in the North London derby. The atmosphere will be off the scale today. 2 seasons ago, Neville spoke about how the Tottenham fans, in fact, brutalized Arsenal at home. Can the fans rattle Liverpool today in a similar way and play their part in affecting the result?
We must. We have to do that. That is the minimum requirement of a fan. If you can't get, like I said last week, if you can't get behind the team in this run of form, if you can't believe, if you can't get excited, just go, innit? I can't talk to you. Honestly, I haven't got time for it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there should not be a single. You have to be pumped. You have to be confident. Look, I was getting pumped for bloody Dross football last season, trying my best to get behind the team, doing every bloody omen and ritual in the world. Do you know what I mean? Put my socks on backwards, spinning around 3 times. You know what I mean? Whatever I got to do, I made sure I did it. Yeah. So you have to do it. It's a must. If I don't. The only way I'm going to accept the stadium to go silent is if we're losing 5-6-0. As long as we're in the game, even at 2-3-0, you have to believe in this team and believe in the players. Otherwise, what do you want to do? You want to go back to seeing defensive football again? Everybody trying to, survive on their knees rather than dying by the sword. Like, back this team, back it. Like I said, that drummer, get him promoted. Get him a pay rise. Levy, come on, do something for the fans. Get him a good drum set, a couple of good drumsticks. Get him going, get the fans pumped up. So it's a must. It's not even an option. If you're at the stadium and you're not screaming your lungs out, just go home. Just forget about it, man.
What an answer. Love that answer, Dave. I mean, no choice, says Big Mike. You have to be pumped. And also, with the defensive football we used to have, now that you're being given the champagne football, you can't just sit back, relax, and, be like it's a privilege, or you should act like it's a privilege, right? You should act like it's it's a blessing to watch it, and you should get fully behind it, and you should bring your energy into it.
Look, it's a category A game. Everyone's paid 80 quid or above to be there today, so you may as well make the full use of it. And look, we have to make the full use of that wall of sound. That's what it was brought in to do, to create similar atmospheres from maybe around Europe, make it electric, make it hostile place to come. I want to see that South Stand, not just the South Stand, the full stadium in full voice singing, what is it, Robbie Williams' Angels about Big Ange. That's what I want to hear as they're walking out, for the first few minutes. I don't even want to hear the referee getting the game under with his whistle. I want to hear that song being belted out. And then after that, every time a Liverpool player gets the ball, jeer him, put pressure on him. Do something that Liverpool have not been tested against before. Make it hostile. Every time Klopp goes to get animated on the sideline, everyone start chanting, sit down, stroppy, Kloppy. Really make it intimidating and horrible for them. And then I guarantee you the referee then goes, oh, I might start giving Spurs a few decisions here. I don't want to be on the back end of that either. But this is what this stadium was built for, to bring more fans in to intimidate opposition. Look at the way it's designed. They have to come in at one end of the stadium and walk around the stadium to go into the dressing rooms. Be there beforehand. Let Liverpool know it ain't going to be an easy game. And do what Gary Neville said. And that's it's the proudest thing I've ever heard said about the fans was that North London derby against Arsenal and the Conte. The fans brutalised Arsenal. They'll never be able to get a headline like that, ever. And why not create more of it? That's what Tottenham can be like when everyone's full voice and up for a game. And we should be now more than we ever have been before with the style of football we're playing and the players we're getting behind. Use this to our advantage. You look at Liverpool, prime example. Look what they do with Anfield. Teams hate going there. Absolutely hate going there because their crowd is the 12th man and it makes a massive difference. And we now need to use that home stadium to our advantage this season, doing the exact same thing.
Is it an exaggeration, Big Mike, to say that the fans can play a massive part in getting 3 points? Like they, also contribute, to getting the 3 points on the day. Is it an exaggeration to say that? Or did the fans really play their part in actually getting the team over the line in these sort of games?
Well, in Dave's passionate speech there, first of all, I just got to touch the badge, you know what I mean? Come on, you Spurs, yeah, that's big. Now, Dave called it spot on, man. It's the cliche, innit? The proverbial 12th man. So I think it does exist. I think it is a thing. See it all throughout my life. The fans really can make a difference, especially in the close encounters, the 2-2s. Maybe that nicks it to a 3-2. The 1-0s, that kind of stuff there to get to push the players, which is now, used to be 90 minutes, is now 100 minutes. So you've got to play. The fans have to go all the way. So it's not a cliche. No, it's not an over-exaggeration or overhype. Believe that your support will change something. You have to believe that. And it does. Son even came out the other day. Didn't he say the fans pushed us on or something? I can't remember. I can't remember if it's the NLD or before or after. But he definitely said something along that. And he's the captain. So back the team, Nobody thought. I just somehow come in the show and I'm just literally speechless by what Andrew's done. I cannot believe how far he's brought this club forward in such a short amount of time. We've not even done 1 year. It's not even been a year. So get behind the team, get pumped up, get excited. Like I said, if we win today, I'm going to come in here talking about winning the league. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to believe every season until it's mathematically impossible or until the football's got dried up. But I don't see that, man. So, yeah, let's just believe, get behind, like, the fans. So important. If you're at the stadium today and you're watching this, get behind the team, encourage the people sitting next to you. Don't be shy, be confident, be brave, sing for the team. Yeah,
and
100%.
Get the people next to you singing. And George,
come on.
Absolutely love that you're listening to this while you're headed into the stadium. Hopefully, Big
Come
Mike
on, George.
You up, my man. Sorry, Dave. What
Spread the word. Spread the word, George, to every single fan today. You know, I'm loving Big Ange instead, belt it out. You know, and even when the team, if we do go one down, you know, don't tell everyone. There's people around you sitting back nervous, you know, whatever. Tell them, get up out of the seat, get behind the boys. Last year, Conte, or over Conte's tenure, he constantly routinely asked for fans to get behind the team. Constantly. Yeah. I think the difference this time round is the fans are feeding off of the team. Football. You see the likes of the huddle, you know, on away games over in front of the away fans. That's designed to get the fans on board and behind them, going up to them at the end of games and acknowledging them, spending their hard-earned money coming out to support this club. And we're not like other clubs where we don't do well, we don't turn up. You know, we turn up regardless of how Tottenham Hotspur are doing. And when you see the fans showing their appreciation and stuff like that, you know, it's automatically getting fans behind them. And, you know, I think that's the biggest difference. Fans are not, because they're not being told to do it. They're wanting to do it. And I think that's the biggest difference this time. And long may it continue.
Ah, well said. And Marlon Green is in here. Afternoon, fellas. Bang on, Dave. Make the stadium hostile for the opposition. Big Pants saying we all want to see Klopp with a glum face today. Absolutely right. And Carl Simpson, absolutely loving what Big Mike has to say. Terrific answer from yourself, Big Mike. I must be honest. Another question for you, though, lads. I'll go to Dave on this one. Liverpool have gone behind in 4 of their games already this season, and Tottenham have gone behind in 4 of their games as well already this season. How important is it that the first goal today, that we get it, and will it decide the game, that first goal? To you, Dave.
Oh, to me?
Sorry.
I don't think so. I think, look, for us, I think the first goal is absolutely huge. You know, if we get the early goal, because Liverpool have gone down 5 times, including the Carabao Cup game this season, gone behind 5 times already. Mm-hmm. Now, the difference is we've got a much better backline than other teams they've been up against, so we might actually be able to hold on to it. And you can't keep relying on coming back every single week. So if we can start fast, which is something we actually haven't done in quite some time. First half this season has been a bit mediocre. Second half is where we've gone and won a lot of the games. But also it's been a problem under Conte. Mm-hmm. But with Liverpool shipping goals earlier on, if we can start, because West Ham battered them earlier on in that game. They could have had a couple of goals. If we can nick that goal, we might be able to hang on to it. I think if Liverpool nick that goal, well, you know, we can get back into the game. Both teams are sort of comeback kings at the minute, so we'll see. But if we get the early goal, I think we go on to win the game.
What do you think, Big Mike? Is the first goal the most important goal?
I think in the past I would have said yes, but I just don't see it this season. I think if you're not winning by 2 clear goals, I think 2 goals is required in this kind of modern, exciting football that we see these days. So no, don't. If they score first, I'm not worried. If we score first, we've still got work to do. So it's just one of those things there where we can't let that first goal change the mood or the objective of what, you know, the game plan is, whether we score first or concede first. I think, you know, yeah, it's going to be goals. We're definitely going to concede. I know that for a fact. We're definitely going to concede. I can't see us not conceding. But I think we can outscore Liverpool by 1 or 2 clear goals. I really believe that.
I agree with you, Mike. I feel like Liverpool are a team that in the second half, we have to be worried, because if you're up by only 1 goal, they seem like they're capable of coming back against everybody. And if there's only 1 game between us, this game is still well on. Even 2 goals, I would say the game is still well on. But any of these teams, whichever one scores the first goal, you have to look at, you know, the fact that both teams are capable of, like you said earlier, putting 3 past almost any team in the Premier League. So it doesn't really matter, at least in my opinion, who scores the first goal. Yes, it would take, you know, a lot of crowd momentum, you know, out of us if we ended up conceding first, or it could add a lot of momentum to us if we ended up scoring first. But it doesn't mean the game is over, and it doesn't mean, I think, that one sort of that there's a huge pendulum swing to the other side. I think it still is pretty even at that stage, and it's still going to be an exciting game. But it's a good question, I think, to ask, because like you said, used to be the case in the past that, you know, it ended up being kind of the end of the game. How do we approach today's game, though, Mike? Do we look to contain Liverpool's attack, or do we look to just go out right away and score straight away?
I just think we're the home side, right? Like, I don't want to be, I'm just not negative anymore. I've done that with Conte and Mourinho. I tried to just say, I back the manager, I believe in them, I want to win something. But yeah, no, I realized the playing the football that we got into the team, supporting maybe as kids, whether it's for your family or friends, whatever it was. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. So yeah, we've just got to not worry about Liverpool. I know it sounds really ridiculous, but we just have to play to our strengths and trust that our strengths is good enough to beat any team on this planet on its day. You know, that's just how we have to, that's the mentality that I think Ange is trying to bestow onto the team. I think he's already successfully bestowed it onto me at the very least. And I just can't see any other way of thinking. So I'm not worried about the opposition. I come into these games, you know, before I was like Conte, looking at all the opposition, I don't even care now. I don't care about Saka, I don't care about Salah, I don't care about Darwin Noodles, whatever you said, you know. It's about Udogie, it's about Maddison, it's about Basuma. If our players play 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, we're going to probably win the game. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as well, I feel like going into this game, though, it feels like it could end up being a bit of a basketball game because both attacks are so good and both attacks are capable of scoring against any defense, like we just said. So why not maybe just try to outscore them, Dave?
Look, I think that will be our game plan. I think, look, obviously there's going to be an element to, you know, trying to stop most. That's not going to be our main focus. Our main focus is how we're going to break them down, looking at their weaknesses, where we're going to be able to get on the ball and play. And look, you know, let's see how this mindset or this approach takes us going into this game. It served us well against United, served us well against Arsenal going at the Emirates, despite many people being nervous about it. This team keeps proving people wrong. A lot of these players, when they were first brought in here, people absolutely ridiculed. They were told they weren't good enough to be here. You know, this, that, and the other. Now look at them. My point is, you know, Ange was ridiculed with, you know, everyone was laughing at us, this, that, and the other. Everyone's laughing at what we've been doing, but these guys keep knocking it down and keep getting better and proving everybody wrong with every opportunity.
Definitely.
Long may this continue, and hopefully it's the same again today. Don't change what's worked for you going into other games. This one, for me, I think should be a bit of a free hit. It's one that we know on our day we could get served up. We very easily, if we have an off day today, could get opened up and served up. But for me, let's go into it, no fear, see where we're at. We come out with a result today, we're going to have questions. Where do we rank Tottenham's football? If it's in the top 3 teams in the Premier League, then we have to talk about Tottenham being in an early title race. Now, different question whether that lasts or not. That's a different question altogether. But if we come out today with a result and prove that our football and our methods work against the best teams in the league, against the team that everyone's tipping to run City close, well then, you know, we've got to keep that approach going into every single game, Jack, in my opinion.
Here's a chance to get thrown into that conversation where you have to be put in the conversation for that title race. Like you say, it's not for forever, but you just have to be in there. It would be, you're just forcing yourself into that conversation, which is a great place to be. Big up to you, Robbie Keane. Hopefully you're keeping well today. Big up, Dave and Jack. And come on, you Spurs. Nice to see you in the house this today. Mark News saying, let's smash that like button, everybody, guys. Get Dave and Jack up the channel. 260 watching and only 22 likes. I think we're on 120. Let's get up to 150, please, everybody. Show the stream some support. If you have been enjoying what we've had to say, feel free to smash that like button. It does get the, you know, get the streams out there to others. We're constantly in a battle against the algorithm, like Dave has to say here as well. And keep getting your comments in. We'll put them up on screen. And if you do want to support the channel an extra way, and if you want your opinions heard, feel free to throw it in as a super chat. It is a great way to get your opinions straight away discussed and, you know, brought up by us on the panel here. But big up to Mark New, absolute legend. Appreciate you supporting us, my man. And another question really here is that we've conceded a lot of goals to Liverpool in the past, but I feel like, you know, the back line that we now have with goalkeeper, you know, Big Vic behind the sticks, you know, we look so much better than we used to. Would you say perhaps a better back four and goalkeeper than maybe Liverpool's Big Mike? I'll go with maybe a better partnership in the back line. I think Van de Ven and Romero I would have over Van Dijk and Matip. The fullbacks are an interesting one, like Udogie versus Robertson. Personally, I rate Udogie higher, but he's only been in the Premier League for so long. Trent versus Pedro Porro, I think your choice between two very brilliant, technically gifted players. And then the goalkeepers are also both great. Alisson, I do think, is one of the best in the world and has actually kind of helped Liverpool in a lot of games and kind of helping them get the results. But for once, it feels like Spurs can maybe fit some. I don't know, if you were to do a combined 11 in the back four, I think some of us would get in there. Some of our players would get in there.
I think it's a tough one. I think if you said, okay, only look at the 6 games of the season, then you've got a stronger argument for a lot of our players to get in. I think if you looked at it across, their proven last 5 years, Premier League winners, Champions League winners, Carabao Cup winners, FA Cup winners, like it's difficult for me to say that Big Vic's ahead of Alisson. I can't say that with chest. Yeah. I think Alisson's got another 4 or 5 years. I thought he's only 30, 31, something like that. So he's not even nowhere near past his prime. Trent, I would definitely take. I mean, it's difficult because probably Porro is not like the best defender either. But I probably would. For me, I would probably edge Porro just ahead of Trent, which is I can already see Liverpool fans getting ready to punch me up. But it's one of those things there.
Yeah. Similar players, I was going to say. In a way,
yeah, right? Quite similar. That's why I kind of edge him in. But I would say Van Dijk has to come into the team, even though I don't think he's nowhere near that best season he had. 2-3 years ago, I think it was. Where he was outstanding. But he's still probably better than Van der Ven, to be fair. And probably, Romero ahead of Konate, and then you probably would pick Robertson currently ahead of Udogie, just based on he is good experience. He's a proven winner. So that's the difficult thing with Liverpool. But if you want to just base it on, okay, this season alone, the last 6 games, you've got a much more stronger argument to start including even Van der Ven, because he has been on form. When it comes to the midfield, I think our midfield do edge them. I would probably take Szoboszlai ahead of Zaha right now. And then the front 3, they probably edge us. I would say probably you'd have Son down the middle still, and then Salah on the right, and then maybe, God, I can't even think, Jota or Luis Diaz, or they got options. I must admit they have got options. So it's probably on the surface in the last 6 games, probably 6 of their players, 4 of ours, something like that. So it is quite balanced. But the reality is, I would still say they have a stronger team than us,
and they've
across all elements.
And they have history behind them. A lot of these guys, Premier League experience,
exactly.
They've done it on the big occasions, whereas our guys have only played for so long. They've only had so many big games to really show to everybody what they're made of. But Dave, we spoke about earlier the partnership Van de Ven and Romero have, and even Van de Ven had his own very glowing words, about that partnership with him and Romero. Do you agree with me that this defense that we now have actually somewhat stacks up or compares better than it used to Liverpool's? And we don't have to worry as much about Ben Davies or a Sessegnon or a Dyer, in that back line, right? Now this back line and goalkeeper, even if you don't think all of them get in there, I mean, I think they're far more comparable now.
I think they are, and I think they're far more hungrier defensively than Liverpool. You look at our defenders, they're all fist pumping each other, when they keep the ball out of the back of the net. You're not seeing that with Liverpool. And Liverpool have had a huge problem, the last couple of years, trying to find the right partner for Virgil van Dijk. Whoever they seem to bring in, it doesn't seem to strengthen them, and they have had a problem in that area. Whereas you look at ours, they're proper partners. They're talking about, like, the way Van der Ven was talking about Romero, it's like they share bunk beds, Jack. It's like they're brothers. I get that image that, they don't go home to their mansions. They just go into Tottenham Way and, they demand to have bunk beds in the same room together. The Smash Bros. Then you got Udogie down the left-hand side. For me, the best left back in the league. I think look, it's hard to say right now that he's better than Robertson, but he's better at his age now than what Robertson was. And I think he has a better career path and a better career trajectory. The guy can do it all. Porro, technically gifted, improving on the defensive side of his game. Still a bit more work to do. And then you've got Vicario. Is he better with the ball at his feet than Alisson? Potentially. As a shot stopper, I think, look, Alisson is absolutely superb at that. And, Vicario, we've got one of our own. But I do think ours is a bit more tight-knit, Jack. And that once you have that can propel you very, very far.
Hungrier, younger, as well as I just think kind of more in tune and more in sync with each other right now. I think Liverpool's defense from last season looked a little shaky. I still think this season they look a bit shaky and maybe shakier than ours. I'm not saying we have the best in the league or anything right now, but I do feel like they have looked at times more vulnerable than we do. And so I would say that defense of Liverpool's absolutely at one stage probably was maybe the best in the league, if not one of the best in the world. That's just, in my opinion, maybe not what it once was or not what it used to be. And I think ours is more on the rise. Maybe theirs is kind of more on sort of the decline because it's an old era. It's an old era of defenders. And I think Trent and Robertson are still kind of young, but Van Dijk is, reaching now, what is he, 31, 32, and Matip is quite old. Matip is getting quite old as well. Konate, like I said, a lot of injury kind of issues there. Who's going to replace Van Dijk as well? So I think they kind of have more of an aging kind of defense that's going through maybe a bit of a, kind of tail end of their career sort of thing. Whereas ours is absolutely on the rise and on the come up, full of young, exciting talent. So just two different stages. And I think also a lot of Liverpool fans, like you brought up, Big Mike, are probably just, screaming at us right now, for how little of respect we're really showing, what they've done in the past. But that's how excited we are about our team. That's how good we feel about these first 6 games that we played. Sonny's wife is in the house. Big up Sonny's wife. Like I said, hopefully no hat tricks today, because that would mean that he's going to end up sleeping with the match ball and not with you. But let's get that brace. I think you went for 2 goals with Sonny today. 1 goal from Matters, 3 goals for the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. Love it, Sonny's wife. Appreciate you.
I thought Sonny wasn't allowed a wife. I thought the father had full control over that situation.
Keeping it under wraps. Nice one. Good to see you too.
Just running to the Jack to be back in 1 sec.
No worries. We're going to talk about our man Udogie here, Big Mike. Udogie had Saka in his pocket during the North London derby. He will be up against Salah today, who in his 18 league games versus Spurs has scored 11 against us. Today, can we stop him from playing? Can he neutralize the Salah's threats?
Well, if you didn't read the last stat, I would have been more confident. Yeah, I think Udogie will be fine. I think he's shown against Saka that even if he gets booked, he's not reckless. He'll make Salah ask the questions. But I think the difference between Salah and Saka is that I think Salah will ask the questions. I think he's not experienced to really take that battle on and take the scruff of the neck of the game. It's going to be a really interesting battle. That's a really hard one. It's kind of 51-49 or the other, right? Who's going to sort of edge it 1 or 2% more quality to get the best of each other on the day? But obviously, I'm going to back the young guy. I'm going to back our kid. Our star boy, proven against Saka. Like I said, he contained him. The first 30 minutes were a bit hairy, but as soon as he got booked, it was like a different defender. Totally different defender, composed, didn't commit. I think he even made 1 good slide tackle, even with the yellow card against him as well. So, but yeah, really interesting battle. I would like to hope that we can obviously keep Salah quiet and stop him from scoring any goals. And yeah, I think Udogie will need some help protecting that side against him,
Polio,
that's going to come from Salah or whoever. Sorry, go.
I was going to say Polio125 is bringing up that Sessegnon managed to pocket Salah.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's the thing, though, right?
That's true.
Like, while that's absolutely the case, and there was, some good performances from Sessegnon, that stat still says that Salah has probably been one of the more dangerous players against Spurs, and if what was it? I forget what the term is, but, those guys that are just sort of like Spurs killers, where they just always seem to show up, against us. They play like their best games of their lives every single time they come up against us. I've said Joe Linton's always been one. Marcus Alonso used to be one for Chelsea, always seemed to put in his best performances against us. And there's some others in there. Salah, you could say, with that record, I mean, clearly has put up some great, games against us and has caused us maybe more problems than other Liverpool players have. I think Udogie, though, has shown to be a far better left back and a far better challenge for Salah than what he's come up against in the past. Sessegnon is nowhere near as good of a player as Udogie is, I think, either defensively, going forward, whatever it may be. And also, too, I think, what was it before Sessegnon? Like Ben Davies, and before that, I don't even remember really.
Danny Rose.
Danny Rose. Well, Danny Rose, fair.
Rose is good, right? Yeah.
Did Salah get to come up against Danny Rose, as often? I'm trying to remember. Maybe nowhere near as often as some of the other guys did that we've had.
He must have been there wasn't Danny Rose there in the 4-1 win at Wembley? Was he? Yeah, I think that was our back line then, right? Yeah.
Should have been. But yeah, I think Udogie, he's just been a left back that we can actually feel confident in, that we can get behind. And I don't know. I think he's going to be coming up against an interesting battle. I feel like Salah, I feel like Salah is a tougher test than Saka in terms of the finishing department. Like, Salah is absolutely ruthless with the chances that he gets.
Well, he's creating now as well, isn't he? He's given assists off the season, so he's dangerous all around.
Do you think that's a change in style, or do you think that's just something that's just by coincidence that he's getting more assists?
I don't know what's happened. I used to slag him off for that in the past. Like, he just doesn't never used to pick out Mane and things like that. I don't know if they had a problem. Maybe they had a falling out. But this season, he's quite selfless, Salah. If he draws one or two players onto him, he'll look to offload it now rather than try and ping it on his left foot. So I would say he's going to be more assist heavy in this season. Maybe not this game, but in this season for his team.
I do think Van de Ven is another massive help down that side though as well, because before if Mo Salah got by Sessing or Davies, he was in at Dyer. Or, so I mean, he's had a field day down that side, let's be honest, We've seen League One teams come here and have a field day down that side. So, I mean, it wasn't hard. But I think this time, even if they do look to go in behind, Flash is there to mop it up. That allows Udogie to play a bit further forward as well. It allows Udogie to get tight to him because he knows he's got Flash there to mop up. So I think coming down that left-hand side, it's not pretty anymore. It's not. And neither is it coming down our right-hand side. Of course, to get a bit more joy down the right-hand side because of the inverted full-back system. But we still do enough to shut it off. And I'm not really worried about teams from open play anymore. I'm more worried about teams from set pieces. That's our piece here.
Van Dijk is also a huge threat from set pieces. He seems to win every single header whenever they put the ball in. And I think he could, if they were to score from a set piece, it absolutely will be from Van Dijk, or at least something, caused by him in some manner. Paul Osper, though, who was with us earlier, I mean, he was very confident in Udogie, Dave. I think in his prediction, he said that the only thing that will trouble Udogie is that he's already had so many players in his pocket already that is there even space left for Mohamed Salah? So we'll see how he handles today.
I think that's the biggest difference, though, right? Udogie does it week in, week out. Someone like Sessegnon has done it once in like 4 years. People say, oh, he pocketed Saka. Well, he didn't. Saka drove in and had a shot on goal that Lloris should have saved, but went in the back net. The point is, if Sessegnon fronted up and didn't let him drive into the box, that shit wouldn't happen. So, with Udogie, that does not happen. We've seen him manhandle Mbuemo. We've seen him manhandle, who was the United player down that side? I can't remember. He was so insignificant. We've seen him manhandle absolutely everybody. So that's the biggest difference. It's week in, week out. It's not. It's the standard. It's not just once in a blue moon.
Speaking of our other fullback, though, Postecoglou has stuck with Pedro Porro at right back this season. He came up against Gabriel Jesus instead of Martinelli last match. Do you think he's ready for Luis Diaz, though, Big Mike? Is that a tougher test?
I think it's a tough test all around. Like I said, I think Liverpool have got they've got possibly, arguably, the strongest attack in the league. Especially when you consider the depth. They've got 5 or 6 players that, I think anyone on their left-hand side would walk into our team right now. To be honest with you, they play for us on the left. Diaz, Jota, Darwin Núñez, you name it. I reckon they would flit in straight away under Ange. So, I think it is a big test for Porro. It might even be a bigger test for Porro than Udogie, to be fair. I think that side might be more vulnerable than the left-hand side because, Porro's not as good as defending Udogie. But obviously we've got Romero there, we've got Sarr as well. So it's going to be balanced. I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to be a really balanced game. Like who's going to take their chances, what quality is going to come up, who's going to be more clinical. But can we contain them? Yeah, I think if everybody plays 8 and 9 today, then we should kind of see this one out comfortably. Dare I even say a cheeky 2-0 if everybody's up for it, everybody plays on form. But, football doesn't quite work like that. And maybe Liverpool also play 8 and 9. So it could... No. It's just going to be a great game. It's just nice to be a Tottenham fan knowing I'm going into a game to watch football rather than watch, I don't know, where I was watching before.
It's nice to be the team
that's to have realistic expectations. Oh, sorry, Jack, go on.
No, I was just going to make a comment that we're basically the two times in a row now the best games of the weekend. You'd maybe argue, the 2 top teams like playing. It's nice to have that feeling. Sorry, you were going to say something better though, Dave. What were you best to say?
No, I was just going to say, it's nice to go into the games with expectations. Now, I think many of us rocked into last season, sort of going, if we don't, so you looked at certain players, you said, if he has a bad game, we're going to lose this today. I had many people going to be last season. Come on, Dave, give him a chance and that. And now it's the opposite way around, where I'm trying to drag people with me and go, now is the time to be confident. Let's go. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest difference. We can go into these games with expectations rather than being scared.
Good to see Donovan Oosterreicher joining us. We're going to see how good Venom is today. Donovan, let me know if you went on a pre-match run or something like that, Donovan. Good to see you in the house. Nice, up nice and early as well. Top man, Donovan. Question on sort of the front line though today. With Brendan Johnson missing the game through injury today, who do we expect to start, Dave? Mon or Solomon or Richarlison?
No, I think Mon or Solomon. I think it avoids less disruption, Jack. I think if you take Sonny out the middle and put him on the left, I think you lose that clinicalness or that deadliness of the Son-Maddison partnership. We've seen that experimented against Brentford at the start of the season. It didn't really work, right? Let's be honest, because Maddison and Son kept on sort of staying out on the left-hand side, filling up each other's spaces. Son has to be through the middle. So on that basis, I go with Solomon out on the left-hand side, because I think if he gets the ball, he's more than likely going to keep it than maybe Richarlison would, because as much as I want it to work out for Richarlison, I don't want to be grating on the guy, because I actually like Richarlison as a human being, and I can't say that with players that's been at the club in years gone by. I haven't liked him as a player, and I haven't liked him as a human being, whereas with Richarlison, I actually like the guy, and I really wanted to work out. But if that ball goes to him and it's constantly getting taken off his toes, well, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold on the ball, and that spells so much danger in terms of passing or crossing. So I think you put Solomon in there, in my opinion, today, and you leave Sonny up top. That's what I would go for. And look, that left-hand side is up for grabs. Solomon, there's every incentive for him to go out there today and put in a good performance and make it his own. He's got Gil Messi coming back from injury, chasing him down. And if he doesn't have a good game, Richarlison might very well find himself back in the team in some shape or form. So the opportunity is his today. Go and grab it.
Absolutely. Mike, I saw you nodding your head there. Solomon for you as well on the left?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Dave. I would say, like he said, Brian or Messi, is ahead of Richarlison on that left as well for me. I think Richarlison has to accept that he's competing with Son for the number 9 position, and hopefully they can drive each other forward. Be an impact sub for us, come off the bench 30 minutes ago, grab a winner, grab a last minute assist winner and that kind of stuff, and the fans will love you again. Obviously, for me it's Solomon all day long on the left. If Brennan was fit, then definitely I would start Brennan. I thought he did okay, personally, me, and just got to give him a run of games to get a feel for it. But Solomon, unfortunately, we're a bit weak. Like I said, we're a bit weak in that area. We're quite weak on the left at the moment. So hopefully Solomon have a good game.
Solomon, I feel like, is a better choice just because of the just because of the attackers that have caused Trent problems in the past. Look at even Anthony Gordon, right, for Newcastle. I would say is more of a similar player to Solomon than Richie is. Even Vinicius Jr. in the past has caused Trent lots of problems. I think small, dynamic, sort of very aggressive wingers on the ball that want to take you on in those one-on-ones will cause him lots of problems. He seems to struggle in those one-on-one moments against those type of players, as a lot of defenders do, because they're very, very tricky and they have that sort of low center of gravity. Especially Solomon has that really low center of gravity that's just hard to really read where he's going to go. And I think Trent could struggle with that. He also seems to get a bit lazy, in my opinion, Trent, where he'll just sort of like throw a leg in when he doesn't need to, and then it can concede a penalty, concede a bad free kick. And I think Solomon is a guy that, like I said, is so tricky. You don't know where he's going, that if he just dangles a leg out, he's a guy that probably might fall over, and a guy that could end up, getting us some maybe some crucial sort of set pieces, or dare I say penalty, if he's in those one-on-one situations. Whereas with Richarlison, you need him to have a good first touch, you need him to have a good touch after that, and then you need him to make a good decision, with the ball after that. And he's better off in, I think, the penalty area when he's actually in the striker sort of positions, when asking him to do those sort of things, than he is out wide. And even when he's played on the wings, I think he's actually better on the right, or he's actually played better games on the right than he ever has on the left. So, and the right is, I think, taken up by Kulusevski, taken up by Brian Hill, I think that, and Brandon Johnson when he's fit again. So it's just, it's no choice for Big Richie. But I think it's going to be the Salah monster, hopefully today up top. Moondog with a super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. He says, wow, can I thank the great members on here for the donations? She has already reached her target. She's nearly reached her target. She would like to say a very big thank you. Big love. Moondog, she's doing a great service. She's also as well just, fighting for a good cause, walking for a good cause. And I think whatever we can give is the least we can do. And also just really appreciate you, Moondog, for all the support that you show us, as well as hopefully I believe whatever close family member she is. I hope that she's doing well. I hope that she's walking strong and she feels a little bit better knowing that she's got close to her donation mark. Big up, Moondog.
We're only £18 off, so if there's anyone out there, like I said, €1 helps. It's for cancer research. The lady is walking, 100 miles for cancer research. So, there's only, 18 pounds left to try and reach the goal. Let's try and do it.
Top man,
Big up,
Moondog.
Moondog.
Absolute legend.
And we've about, another little while left here. So feel free to keep getting your comments in, smashing them like buttons, smashing the subscribe button, helping your boys, or grabbing a channel membership, or donating to the channel, to show your support for everything that we do here.
Absolutely. Donovan Osterreicher answering my question earlier saying, oh, no run yet today, Jack. Way to keep me accountable, though. He says it's a leg day at the gym. We'll finish up with some cardio. Poro will take advantage of the space Kulu will create. We have a good balance in the squad. Pedro Poro is the postman. He's going to be in his own prison today. He's the warden. He's back at home. Donovan, I think you got to unleash him today, and he could cause them some problems. He has such a good delivery. He's a bit similar to Trent, like we sort of mentioned earlier, in that delivery of his is just so perfect. He can sort of score like Trent can as well. He can hit them from distance. He's got that sort of attacking threat that most fullbacks don't really have in the way that he does. And Donovan, I mean, I love that you're even still just, telling me, don't worry, Jack, not going on the run, but I'm making up for it in another way. And hopefully you've gone to the gym with some sort of Spurs gear on. If you have any sort of Spurs gear on, Donovan, let me know. It's good to be, walking around the gym, showing off to the rest that you got the best team in North London. Big up to you, Donovan.
You got Donovan. Great to see you, my man. Great to see you, buddy.
And I think we just got a couple more questions here, guys, that we're sort of going to wrap up with here. And we did mention Brian Hill for a second, and I might give this one to Dave. Brian Hill is expected to be available for selection imminently after stepping up his recovery and beginning his reintegration back into the first team life. Does he have a future under Ange, and does he fit his system, Dave?
Well, this is what Ange had to say on Gil Messi. So rather than people hear it from my mouth and say I'm making it up, let's actually take it from the horse's mouth or the kangaroo's mouth, and let's make our opinion based up off that. So, Jack, again, I'll let you read, because I famously had a slipping tongue yesterday when Derek Hutchinson put in kick Klopp's ass. So I ended up reading it as lick Klopp's ass. So we'll let you do the reading, Jack, just so there's no confusion.
This is Ange on the seventh wonder of the world, Hill Messi. He said he certainly plays in a position where guys with his attributes can certainly fit into our structure. It'll be good to see Brian getting up to speed over the next couple of weeks, training with the team, and then obviously with Ivan Perisic going down with injury, we're only one down now to the wingers and those wide areas. So having him at the club is certainly beneficial. And I think he went on later to say as well that a lot of his attributes, sort of fit the system, and what Brian Hill brings just automatically kind of says just matches our system and, fits what we're trying to do here. And I think Brian Hill hopefully can take advantage of this chance. He's had chances in the past that I think he did take advantage of them for one reason or another. Didn't really, or wasn't really rewarded, right, with those good performances and what he was able to bring. But here's a chance for him. And he was unlucky with injury over the summer. I do not think that helped him out. I think he really needed to stay fit to make the best impression. But here's his opportunity to do so. I think he can play on the right. He can play on the left. He's effective at both. I think on the right, he showed in Crystal Palace that he can be very creative. He can still cut inside and create opportunities, or he can take it down the byline and create opportunities. He's not that readable, or he's not that predictable. I think he does both well. And then on the left, he's just good at being able to create with his left. He's just a dangerous player on either wing. So I feel like he is going to be a suitable player. He's not going to bring exactly what Perisic is going to bring. Doesn't have that same delivery, doesn't have that sort of same type of play style, I think. But in the way that he's a left-footed player who can play on the left and create for others, I think is somewhat similar, and he will bring that dynamism. He also presses really hard off the ball, very hard worker, Brian Hill Messi. Looking forward to this one. Anything to say on him, Big Mike?
I think, for the question, I think he can fit into the squad. I think Andrew answered it, obviously. I think his ceiling is a lot higher than what it looks on the surface, on the outside. I think he come with Perisic kind of being done now, unfortunately, which I thought he looked like he was enjoying his sort of stint in his new role and, the new lease of life that Tottenham brought to him. That's a bit of a shame, but I think he can step up and I guess kind of become third choice behind Solomon and I guess Johnson when he's fit. I would say keep him in the squad, get him up to speed if we can and see where it takes us.
Yeah, I think he will be an option off the bench for us for sure. And I do hope that like I said earlier, he just takes advantage of his chance because I think he only has so much longer really in a Spurs shirt, if not really, given many minutes. And I think he seems to love the club. He seems to have a new kind of leash of life, or just some sort of new feeling towards it. He's changed his Instagram a bunch, and he's constantly posting about the club. Seems to, be around a lot of the other guys like Porro and Romero. Just seems to be enjoying himself right now. So I just hope that gets rewarded and that he can put in the good work. Before we get on to Jurgen Klopp, any last words for Hill Messi, Dave?
Yeah, I think, look, Jack, if it's ever going to work out from Tottenham, it has to be under Ange Postecoglou. We've had 3 defensive managers where they didn't really know what to do with him, whereas I think with Ange Postecoglou, he'll know exactly what to do with him. You look at his strengths, it's the way he wants to play, pressing from the front, high energy, keeping it relentless. So he'd suit him either as a starter or off the bench. And the fact that no one has nailed down that left-hand side yet, if I was Gil Messi, I'd get my head down now. I'm working extremely hard, and I'm making sure I get an opportunity on that left before someone nails it down. And that's where I would be looking at. I think there is an opportunity there for sure. And even if he doesn't, make it on the left-hand side, there's opportunities there for him off the bench. And I think the difference in years gone by is Gil has looked at it and said, well, there's no way I'm getting game time here, so I'm out. Whereas I think even under Ange Postecoglou, even this season, if the majority of it is coming off the bench, because of the atmosphere and that's been created around behind the scenes, I think Gil will want to stay, and I think he will want to be a part of it. He just needs a manager that's going to believe in his talents. You look at the guy; he can move left with the ball, he can move right. Not only is he talented, but he's got the work rate. And when you've got the two combined, your career will go one way. And he's just waiting for that right guy to know what to do with him. Luka Modric, when he came into Tottenham, he was playing in a more advanced role, sometimes off the right, sometimes off the left. Redknapp put him in the middle. Everyone said, can't do that. He's going to get mauled, doesn't have the physicality. Everything you hear about Gil. Well, Modric went on to win a Ballon d'Or. So if you find the right position for Gil, you get the very best player, and then you get the very best output from the guy. I'm not saying he can go on and win a Ballon d'Or, but it's just about knowing where to play him.
And it's about a manager who sees the talents in him and sees what he can bring. There is something that Brian Hill brings. There is this sort of magic.
Maybe he could play back up to Maddison. I didn't think about that. Maybe he could play down the middle, number 10. I know he's obviously is good, but if he could be retrained for that, because we are lacking for that cover in that role there. So maybe there is more to come from Gil Messi. I guess time will tell.
I think Wayne Bonner sees him as more of a Bernardo Silva, David Silva, kind of central, tricky type of midfielder, right? That can just control the ball in any situation and just be a hard guy to just get it off of. That's kind of the case with Bernardo Silva, right? He's just impossible to get the ball off of. And Hill is similar, right? He's just hard to get near, quick thinking, just quick with his feet, and just is moving the ball in such a manner that even if they're small, even if you can kind of shove them over, I mean, they're already, giving up the ball. The ball's already, 10 yards away by the time that you even get close to him, sort of thing. And I think he would do well in the middle. It's just like what Dave said. It's just somebody who has to see these things in him and give them these sort of chances. Last question here for everybody.
Just before we move on to the last question, Jack, I just want to go around the games. There's some mad results going on at the minute. So, of course, that's the big. Yeah, well, we haven't done it in a while, Jack. I've been slacking. So, look, of course, that's the Villa smash Brighton earlier on, 6-1. Arsenal winning 1-0 away to Bournemouth. Luton 2-0 up at Everton. Crystal Palace 1-0 up at Old Trafford.
Come on.
Burnley 1-0. Wolves beating City 1-0. And West Ham beating Sheffield United 1-0. So there's a big, crazy day in the Premier League. And it looks like so far the underdogs in the games are doing the job.
Yeah, definitely.
5-5 kickoff.
Definitely. Luton Town 2-0 over Everton. I thought Everton were going to smash.
That's crazy. That's
smash them today. That's
Everton are getting relegated this year.
Everybody getting relegated. Exactly. Dodgeball only lasted so long. Jurgen Klopp used to complain about how Spurs would let up the counter, Jurgen Klopp used to complain, everybody, about how Spurs would set up on the counterattack against his teams and how that style of play did cause him problems. I don't feel like Ange will do that. Do you think this could make up for a different type of game, a different type of tempo? And what do you think Jurgen Klopp will find to complain about this time? Go over to you, Mike.
Funny enough, I read his comments and he was quite complimentary about Tottenham and the new direction. Expecting an open game. Obviously, he mentioned that in the past we were just set up to counter. We were the best counter-attacking team in the league. His words, not mine. And we would just ping it to Kane, who would ping it to Son, who go on a one-on-one. But, you know, he did go on to then praise Ange Postecoglou, who called him a top coach. His words, not mine. And I agree with him. Look, I think Klopp is one of those guys that when things are going well, you know, he's a really nice guy and says the right things. But obviously when it goes sauerkraut or, you know, whatever the German equivalent is, you know, he's miserable. Yeah. You know what I mean? All I can say for Klopp, I hope he's got his favourite bratwurst ready. Yeah, that's sausage in German. Yeah, and I hope he's ready for that, because I just think, like I said, I think we're going to win. So, yeah, I can't see what he can moan about. If we win, he can only moan that it's champagne lane, champagne football, yeah? The best football in the league, I would argue at the moment. That's what I personally think. I think we're playing the most attractive style of football, this possession-based, one-touch football at times, but then the ability to mix it up and go long if we need to, go direct. We're not shy anymore. We play it to the flanks, play through the middle, short passes, keep the ball, go direct, try and break the lines. Nobody's afraid to make a key pass. I think Klopp's worried. I think he should be worried. I think this is going to be the hardest Tottenham that he's had to fight, in terms of, you're not going to come here and just control the game, control the ball, and just really have a comfortable time on the ball and just be worried about the counter. You have to worry about the counter and us also playing football.
Tears of Klopp IPA going to be served at Beavertown tonight, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, me, yeah. 100%. I thought you said Mike. No, 100% there is, Jack. I can't wait for it. You know, Jurgen Klopp will probably complain about the Bratwurst and Fritz being overpriced or something like that. But, you know, my name is David, and hopefully Jurgen Klopp will, you know, will be saying that in the press conference after, Jack. Oh, look. The guy always moans, whether it's about the referee, whether it's about his fake teeth, you know, whether it's about, you know, the what's going on at Liverpool at the minute. But I like stroppy cloppy, Jack. Stroppy cloppy means Liverpool aren't doing as good as they should be. So long may that continue, you know. And there'll be brilliant memes after the game. Twitter reacts will be absolutely crazy. Good, Jack, if we win today. The amount of memes we're going to get, Klopp moaning and grinning his teeth and everything. Honestly, sometimes when I think he like grins his teeth and stuff like that, I think he's sponsored by Colgate. You know, I think he's just racking up 10 pence. I mean, it's just an absolute joke. But look, it's time to put them back in their box, Jack. The Liverbird up against the Crow and Cockerels. We're hungry. It's time to feed.
I just hope that the medical team is on standby for when he dislocates his hamstring again from complaining, you know, with the referees, because they need to be, you know, keen on that, because he has a tendency to maybe overexert himself in those moments. So hopefully Postecoglou has the medical team close by in that situation. Be actually fun if that maybe he did do one of those famous or infamous sort of struts that he goes up to the referee.
Yeah.
If we just had a little trap door or something set for him and then he just fell through. But I think on the day, everybody, I think we're just gonna wrap it up there. Lots that we discussed on the day. I'm feeling confident. I'm a little silly at this stage where I'm just feeling so confident. I just want the game to get underway so we can see how things unfold. It feels good to be one of the better teams, or one of the better matches, I think, 2 times in a row. North London Derby is always a big one, but we were already one of the more fit teams, one of the more informed teams around the Premier League, as was Arsenal. We somehow got through that, and we're going into another big game today where we look like a very confident team, a very good team, matched up against a very another good and confident team, and we'll see how things go. It feels good to be, you know, the highlight of the weekend, the one that everybody wants to watch. Let's get behind the boys tonight. Hopefully everybody that's going to the stadium is feeling good, looking good, and is ready to cheer on the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. Like Big Mike said, there are no choices, or there's no choice. You have to get behind the team. You have to be feeling confident. You got to be feeling pumped. And everybody, thanks for joining us on this match day. If anybody that tuned in for this show, for your pre-match build-up, for your pre-match pump-up, we do thank you, because there's so many places you can go, but you decide to tune in with us, and we do appreciate that. Smash the like button, please, on the way out. Mike, any final words for the Harris Army, my friend, and all the Spurs fans out there?
I got 3 words. We never stop.
Oh,
you understand?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Everyone, tune back here with your boys at 5 o'clock for the watch along. I do enjoy doing them. I do enjoy the back and forth with you guys out there as well. So make sure you tune in your droves and your numbers. Get your comments in. Go and get the beers into the fridge. Get the lunch or the dinner ready and have it ready for 5:30 kickoff. Like I said, We're a young, hungry team, full of energy, on a journey where we want to achieve something. Let's see what we can do today. It'll be a great test. Come on, you Spurs. Like I said, the Crown Cockerels are hungry. Richie off the bench to give us the pigeon dance as the winner.
Yes.
No better celebration. Honestly, if that guy comes off the bench and scores the winner, you will never see hundreds of thousands of grown men walking around doing pigeon dances ever again in your lifetime. It will be an absolute rarity.
Probably see it from space.
See everyone in the stand synchronized pigeon dancing after he scored.
There'd be seismic movements under the ground from so much pigeon movement. You can see it from space. All these men doing pigeon dances.
In North London.
Everybody, get your pigeon dance ready. Get the beers in, get the sodas in, whatever refreshments you have ready for this game. Get them ready, get them nice and cold in the fridge, get the ice out, have a nice pre-match meal, whatever it is that you need to get ready for this game. Do so right now. Let's get pumped for this match. Another big game for us for the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. Thank you once again for tuning in to this one. We will be seeing you. Come on, you Spurs. In the big Ange we trust. We
never stop.
See you, everybody. Legends. Have a good one.
Everywhere we go.